Loping, I like it.
Yes. Yeah, well, and that's it. I'm just curious to see what happens.
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
You know, it's like,
Yeah.
it does Team Walk opt into those same bans? Like, I would expect to see the Zeratul taken away.
Yes.
But the Tracer, I think, is going to be a hotly contested pick in this series. Just like, that's my first impression.
It's definitely one of those things. Either you ban it or you pick it away.
Yeah.
Because maybe they let it go. It's a best of 5. So at some point you can just let it go through and see like, all right, show me what you got.
Yeah.
How good are you? Can we counter you? If we draft well and get a couple of good stuns involved, is that Zeratul, is that Tracer and Cures and really going to rip us apart, or is he just going to be a problem, but a problem that we can deal with? And if they then all of a sudden get smacked around, then yeah, definitely we're going to see the ban consistently. But I guess we're going to find out in just a second, because we are heading into game number 1. Infernal Shrines is our first map. Now keep in mind, this is a best of 5 today. So we're going to get a lot of action here as we're heading into the first map of the series.
I love it. First day of Championship Sunday, and we've got quite the series for you. Simplicity versus Team Watt, EU versus NA. And right out the bat, talking about respect bans, they said, Ultralisk, we don't want your Kerrigan. No thanks.
How sad are you?
I'm so sad. I literally went over to Uli and I was like, please, can I get a Kerrigan game? And then Kure heard me. He's like, oh, hell no. Not today. Not today.
All right, so the Kerrigan is banned out immediately, the Ultralisk respect ban, and they address the IF tier, so they single Ultralisk out right away. And Ultralisk is actually the one that sits the closest to them, so he's the guy, you know, totally shy, like always quiet, sitting there, but you know there's this one tear that is just like going down his cheek. Both banned out. He's like, that crap's getting banned out against me in Europe all the time. I thought at least in an A I can
I'd at least get one game. I'd least have a chance.
He got my F yesterday once, and that was it, so yeah.
Well, and the thing that I really like about Ultralisk is I feel like he is a pretty reserved person, right? Pretty shy, pretty quiet, but I think his gameplay is so not reserved, right? He plays these Li Mings, these Kerrigans, and so flashy, so intense, and it's just like, I love to see that contrast. But Johanna, you know, an S tier pick taken away, as well as Junkrat. So Zeratul does make it through the initial ban phase. I'll be curious if that's something, you know, is Kure confident to pick that up in the 2-3? They don't first pick it, opting for the Brightwine. I think that's 100% the right move, but I'll be curious to see if it's banned in the third, you know, rotation if it's still up.
All right, so Brightwing is in, and now, of course, the opening. daykwaza, his side laner, they go for Rhaegar first, and he has the Blaze, exactly. The side laner, he gets his Blaze, so that's already a big for the blue team. And nagrom feels very confident on Rhaegar still, despite, of course, the nerfs that the hero just experienced in the recent patch. But it's still a good start for them into all of this.
Yeah, I mean, 2 very powerful picks. Blaze was someone we saw consistently getting banned in the first rotation. I would say probably the best offlaner right now, just by a smidge above something like a Leo over a Yrel. But just like the save from the bunker is so big, and the Leo is going to be picked up for the side of Simplicity, as well as that Hanzo. I mean, Hanzo has a very good ult engage. You know, getting the level 4 Q explosive arrows allows you to have pretty solid shrine control. But from here, it's like they have a very flexible composition, right? With their 2 last picks for Simplicity, they really could go any direction. Also, leaving that Zeratul open is an option. We'll see if Team Wa takes it away. They don't. Okay, so this is what khaldor mentioned in the cast. First game of the day, Kure, is your Zeratul really that good? Are you actually going to pick it? And I like this. I like Team Wa kind of calling the bluff of Simplicity, and, you know, doing this early in the series is the right way to do it, right? See if that Zeratul is something that's actually you can't play against, or if they're even going to pick it.
Exactly, because if they now counter pick it a bit, first of all, as you said, either he doesn't even pick it. Even if he does, you test the waters a little bit. Can we deal with this, or is this really so strong that we have to sacrifice a ban every single time? And getting Diablo already, I mean, it's a huge target now on all of the bans here after we saw these respect bans against Ultralisks for tanks. So Jojo is banned out, you can obviously side lane as well, we got Diablo out, and now Tyrael is getting eliminated. A hero that we've seen quite a fair amount from Mascarade in the past, especially in the European tournaments. So now with Blaze already on the board, and this being Infernal Shrine, Sanctification allows you for a lot of big plays, so they get rid of that. And Mascarade plays again his Stitches. Makke on the Sylvanas, and Mascarade likes the big boy. And we all know what happened the last time that he picked in on Infernal Shrines here at this event.
Yeah, he hit like 90% of his hooks, like summon fog. I was asking him, and there's going to be the Zeratul for Kure as well. So definitely some comfort picks here, definitely some power picks. I mean, Mascarade on the Stitches yesterday was beautiful, and Kure, for the first time that I've seen on broadcast, getting his Zeratul for this tournament. It's really going to be an exciting match. But like you mentioned, this is just game number 1, and I like Team Wa. I mean, if it doesn't work out, I still like them going for this, right?
Yeah.
Having to ban Zeratul every single time in the first rotation is such a big disadvantage, and if they end up winning this game, it's a pretty big deal for the draft moving forward.
Yeah, it's a bit of a gamble. They're coming in there and they're saying, okay, if your Zeratul is really that strong, we are going to risk losing the first map.
Yes.
That's fine. We're going to see where you're at. either we can deal with you, they get Imperious in, so they have a fair amount of CC that they can now use. It's a very strong front line that can also dish out damage. We have stuns on Blaze. Stitches has, of course, some CC that he can use there too, especially after the 16. Sylvanas can come in with a Wailing Arrow, so if makke is really on point and Zeratul makes the engage, if the timing is there, then Zeratul is silenced and can be dealt with. But this is literally them saying, show me what you got, and let's see if we can defeat it. If not, we have to adjust afterwards.
Can you guys defend?
Okay, so they're saying, show me what you got, but which composition, which team do you have favored for this first one, Khaldor? Are you with your EU boys, of course, or like, I mean, because Kure Zera, I can never vote against that. So I think this is a game one going to Simplicity. I think this is a game one going to NA, and I love to see it.
I like the enthusiasm.
Hey.
No, I'm going to stick with Europe here. These guys have been super dominant. Yes, makke coming in, Dino not being here. They've adjusted well so far. This is going to be a tough match for them, but at this point, again, we'll see what they can do. But my initial thing is they got this. They have done really well in the scrims against Diamond Hands as well.
Definitely.
So I believe, but I gotta admit, yes, that Zeratul on the other side is of course going to be an issue. I'm not trying to downplay the skills of Kure here because they have to deal with it somehow, and it's not going to be easy.
Oh, and everyone, you know, just so you know, it's Mascarade's birthday today. So, you know, maybe in the chat, just, you know, say some happy birthdays for Mascarade. The tank player on Stitches, very beautiful to see him here. But on the right, in the red, we've got Simplicity, Pants playing that Leoric. We've got Kure on the Zeratul, Legacy on the Brightwing, Unaverted playing a Nubrak, and Madara playing the Hanzo.
And on the left side, we got Mascarade on the big boy, playing Stitches here with daykwaza on Blaze, nagrom on Rega, ultralisk with Imperious adding even more CC. Obviously, Sylvanas in the hands of a makke. And it is a party time. Let's see what they can do here. Already a bit of a poke at the tower, as everybody on the side of the American team was hiding, making sure they're not getting hooked here early on.
Yeah, Mascarade, you see him just waiting in the bush, waiting in fog, looking for an opportunity for a hook, as it looks like.
Oh, the NA player's already nervous. Ooh, that didn't take long. 30 seconds in.
I'm having screen issues Kure has called. So seems like there's a little bit of issues for Kure right now. We're hopefully going to get that fixed up.
Already preparing the excuses.
Ping difference, you know, it's like, it was pretty funny. We were playing some like ARAMs the other day to warm up with some of the players. And there's a meme in like NA of like West players versus Central players. And since we were playing on the Central server, all the West players, when they lost, are like, oh, like, it's not West. Like, what are we to do? I mean, it's 30 ping for everyone on the same it's just like, I don't know, it's funny. Is there server differences in EU, or is it all just one Central?
I mean, you have ping differences depending on where exactly you live, but like generally speaking,
it's just one server. Yeah. I feel like that's such a better way to do it. Like,
yeah. I remember the HC issues that were always there. Which game is played on which server? So yeah, that was like always a huge discussion. And I was very, very happy that we didn't have that in Europe. So yeah, that added the extra layer of like, of course we lost. We didn't play on our server.
Yes. It's just like that instant like, oh, it's not my fault that we lost. You know, it's like, I didn't make mistakes. Like, I was on 80 ping. You know, how do I win? But it looks like...
yeah, and then you have the European players playing on the NA server with like 140, 150.
And they lose, and they're like, oh, it was my bad. It was my bad. You know, it's like, they're not blaming the pig. But, yeah, I'm really excited for this series so far. I mean, we're only about 30 seconds in. Not really sure what's going to be happening as there's still a full game to unfold. But really, I think for Team Wa, I'm excited to see what ultimate Mascarade actually ends up going for. I mean, he went bio last game. I feel like he got a lot of value. But with this triple tank composition, the Blaze, the Imperious, I could potentially see a bio in like a kite back composition. I mean, maybe that's a bit ambitious. I think odds are he's probably going to go Gorge, but I just, that's something to make note of.
Yeah, there's definitely a couple of options. I think if he goes Gorge, you have a lot of follow-up stuns that he can use to burn the target away, so that's definitely good. I'm still obviously looking towards the Zeratul and also the aggressive lineup in general that we have from Simplicity. There's a lot of good combos here. You mentioned the engage with Hanzo's arrow. You have a cocoon that you can drive the team fight with. Then, the cocoon and the entomb, both of which are fantastic for exactly those purposes. And yeah, what I want to say is that if the blue team loses, let's say like Walla loses a map or two, what they can always try and do a bit, because I felt that yesterday Simplicity didn't seem overly confident in their ability to execute it, is Wa could go and try and play the macro game a little bit harder and go into some globals and try to play with them. It's not necessarily the easiest way to approach it against a good team that always tries to rotate against you and take the solo laner down, but it's something where I felt there was a little bit of a problem for Simplicity when they played against Diamond Hands. Nothing major, but maybe it's something that can be exploited if you feel you have to come up with another solution.
Yeah, like if the first game doesn't work, or maybe you're down 2-0, swapping up what you're doing. As it looks like Team Wa here is going to get the siege camp advantage in the sense that they got theirs, and then they're also going to be able to get this bottom siege camp capped up with ultralisk and makke. And the shrine is going to be spawning in about 40 seconds, so I'd expect to see both teams rotate to those breathers into the next like 10 or 15 seconds or so, just wanting to make sure and get those out. But you see Kure on the Zeratul just looking to farm globes here. Mascarade maybe going to look for a hook here onto Fancy Pants or Kure. Kure does not have blink here. Could be a scary situation, but the hook is not able to connect, and he's going to be able to walk away with his life.
And also quite important that obviously with how notorious Kure Zeratul is, that's now a spot where Team Y is going to mirror the entire, watch what's going on there the entire time. But already Legacy in trouble, and that is the first kill of the game. Brightwing down, and nearly a follow-up kill on Leo. The push continues immediately all the way up at the top as Team Y is sensing an opportunity here to take some of the towers down. And they walk away with a lot of damage against the top lane.
And this is a really big
second
push.
Kill.
Wow, they're up a complete level at 2 minutes and 40 seconds. And this is the Shrine lane as well. So if they lose this first objective, this is potentially going to be a 4-lost situation for the side of Team Simplicity. This is not how you wanted the first 3 minutes of this game to go. But it really is going to come down to this first Shrine. Does Team Wa look to split push a little bit, look for level 7? They're about half a level away from that. So if they can stall it out and potentially get level 7 and fight with that, that'd be a really good situation for them.
I mean, every single time we play the first objective on Infernal Shrines, it's all about teams having a side laner still on the map to get that earlier level 7 talent so that they have an advantage of the objective. And thanks to the double kill and the tower they just took down, they are now half level ahead. So they have that lead without even needing the solo laner on lane. Now Blaze is still pushing in the middle, but thanks to them capitalizing on the experience lead, they are now in firm control of the first objective up to the point where Simplicity is going to grab the extra talent.
Yeah, I definitely feel like this is most likely going to be a first objective going the way of Wa. Sorry, just got a little bit nervous there for my NA boys as daykwaza here.
And rightfully so, but the heal, Brightwing. Pants in trouble on the other hand, and that's Leo down. Brightwing coming in initially to save the day, but now Leoric is dead and Kure is on the run. The hook is out, but Mascarade this time not able to connect it. Still the blue team doing well, about to lock in Punisher #1. 3 kills to 0 right now as Simplicity is trying to get some value in the mid lane, pushing now aggressively, realizing, of course, they can't get objective #1. And I like the reaction that they have.
Yes.
They are realizing we're going to lose this fort either way. This is not going to happen, so let's at least push lanes out a little bit, lock up some experience, and see if we can maybe also do some structural damage.
Definitely. I mean, this Punisher is very healthy, though. Potentially could get the keep all as well, or we may see a rotation from Team Wa. Yeah, okay, they are just going to look to rotate. Okay, no, they're going to push top. I was wondering if they were going to go mid there, but it looks like they are going to go for the keep all is here, potentially looking for more kills as well. Ultralisk trying to follow up off of the Punisher jump, but, you know, Leo able to get himself out there. Unaverted, not with the biggest burrow charge, going to try and kite out a good heal from Legacy as well as Uli hitting another massive Imperious Spear. They banned out 2 of his melee assassins. He says, I don't care, give me Imperious. Ooh, a good juke from Kure, stopping that stun. As Unaverted is going to go in here on the Anubrak. Legacy falling low as well. Kure just jumping in and out. And even though, you know, the Zeratul's in here kind of bobbing, weaving, is not actually, doesn't have very many targets that he can actually kill, right? It's only Sylvanas, maybe Rhaegar. Everyone else has way too big of health bars.
Team Wa is definitely capitalizing big time on that initial double kill at the top lane and how far ahead in experience they got. The early level 10 is going to help them a lot, of course, too. But at the same time, I gotta say, one of the traps that a lot of people and teams fall into, and that's also true for the blue team here, is once that you are heavily ahead and everything seems to be going your way continuously, you might overextend a bit too much, and you have to realize at some point you still can lose this. You need to be careful in those fights and later on when it's even talents, and that's something that they have to keep in mind here. Push while you're ahead, try to exploit your advantage, but also realize that your opponent is strong, and once you give them an opportunity, they will take you down. So now we got that level 10. They can push until we have the heroic abilities on the side of Simplicity, but after that, they really need to make sure that they have everything together and play also a little bit defensive.
And this is a really big wave for Team Wa, as they're going to be looking to pressure in this bottom fort. This is going to be the next objective lane as well, so if they are able to get a lot of meaningful damage here, potentially, if they get the next objective, could get a fort, and this is going to be a pause coming out from T-Wa. But one thing I want to say is that Simplicity is scaling. All right, Kure, you ever watch his stream? He's like the lord of hashtag scaling, right? Anytime he's down, And I really think, you know, it's kind of a meme a little bit, but with their composition, with this Zeratul especially, that's a hero that scales so hard once they get that level 16 talent, that level 20 talent. And I mean, the Might of the Nerazim at 10 is pretty big as well. So, you know, I'll be curious to see how this next objective goes. I do think if they lose it, it is a pretty big momentum swing for the side of Team Wa. At that point, they'll probably get all 3 of the forts. They'll be up a talent tier for the majority of the game. So Simplicity needs a favorable fight for this next objective.
Yeah, they need to make sure that they have the right talent, come in, get a good position. The snowball chance is always there.
Yeah.
But having watched a lot of the games of Team Wa, obviously on the European side, the one thing that I'm a little bit afraid of is they're 3 levels ahead. They feel super confident. They go in a bit too deep. All of a sudden, they overstay. Zeratul sees his chance, comes in, gets the first kill. Yeah. Then you have the Cocoon coming out, Entomb coming in, and they get wiped. The 4 players are lost, and the gap shrinks. There's a lot of momentum on the other side. That's the one part where I want them to realize, okay, this is a team that once they get an opportunity will exploit it ruthlessly. Yeah. So push as long as we can, but don't overstay too long. Because right now they have a very solid advantage. If they play this cool, calm, and collected, they can build on that with every single objective that comes out. Once that they have a keep down, for example, there will be more catapult pressure they can exploit too as the game continues. Yep. But you shouldn't underestimate Simplicity. All jokes about like meta, about like regional banter and stuff aside, Simplicity is strong and you can't give them opportunities. They will take them and push back into the game.
Okay, so ultimates have just been achieved. And I was talking about Hanzo Arrow with the start. Yeah, it's Meme Strike. We have Dragon Strike for Hanzo. So that scaling that I mentioned is even bigger. If they are able to hit level 20 for Simplicity, that's going to be a massive power spike as Kure is going to jump into here, do a little bit of damage to Ultralisk. The Poly from Legacy coming out as well.
Funnily enough, Madara on Meme Strike is one of the first players where I felt I watched him. I don't honestly, don't know which tournament it was and how long ago, but he was one of the first that picked Meme Strike, and I saw it, and I was just immediately like, oh my god, what are you doing, kid? And then he had such fantastic timings and zoned out the opponent with it more than he was trying to get damage in, and that impressed me a lot. So I want to see that. But yeah, we got another team fight. Meme Strike in this case didn't really do a whole lot, but they're turning it on a Nubarak right now. Unaverted in trouble, and he's down. The Cockroach gets exterminated. The follow-up kill on Brightwing. The Fruit Fly is dead too. And the fort is eliminated. Oof, that hurts. And we're still waiting for the first kill for Simplicity.
Yeah, this is not going how you wanted the early mid-game to go for Simplicity. And at this point, 15 seconds from the Shine spawning, level 13 about to be achieved for Team Wa. You see Simplicity already making a move for the Bruiser camp. Would not be surprised if off of this, they just look to push that top fort. You don't really want to fight into Team Wa, a talent tier down, but maybe they will take it. I mean, all of Team Wa's ults are down, but I would expect to see them maybe just look for some sort of split push. But yeah, really, if you're Simplicity, you're turtling up at this point. You're thinking, okay, let's not lose a keep here when they're pushing in with this bot objective. You know, really, name of the game is turtle and to lose the least amount that you can, because if you are able to hit level 20 with this, you know, Dragon Strike on Hanzo, with this Zeratul composition, with this level 2 1E Entomb, it is going to be a completely different game, a completely different teamfight situation for Team Wa and Simplicity.
As Kure would say, they're scaling. That's what he's waiting for right now.
That's what he always says.
To make sure that Zeratul in the late game is then going to rip them apart, and that's the big danger that I see here. But obviously, currently, things are going very, very well for the European team. 5 kills to 0. They have the talent and advantage. I like the attempt to steal the camp here, and it seems like they're going to succeed on this too. daykwaza is double-checking, but he's already too late. So this camp has to be dealt with as the Punisher gets claimed at the bot lane, and Rhaegar is already slowly pushing in together with it. Now, the problem for Simplicity is they might be pushing for... Okay, they're retreating now. Yes. I was just about to say. They might be pushing for the top fort, but that would be the wrong move to make, because in this case, the blue team just simply goes to the bot lane and trades for a keep, and that's a trade you're going to take any day of the week. So, rightfully so, the move back. Here comes again that zoning attempt from Madara. Not all that successful. Punisher baited over the wall quite late here. And the wall is getting taken down as Sylvanas is enhancing the push even further. Another mistook by Mascarade. But of course, always a big threat here. Punisher is pushing in. They want the keep. The Tomb hasn't done anything for Simplicity. And here comes again the stun, the follow-up. Unaverted in trouble. Brightwing helping out. Jumping in. Kure in the back. Looking for a target here. Doesn't find anything. And there's the hook and the gorge and the opportunity for the kill, and Kure goes down.
Ultralisk with the massive read on Imperius, getting that spear onto Zeratul, and this is now an opportunity for Team Wa to finish off this keep. Oh, ultralisk maybe going a little bit too deep, but he knew nagrom has got his back with the Ancestral, and Legacy, it looks like it might be it for, 50 HP, able to escape on the Brightwing, but this is not looking good. Kure's up in 10 seconds, though, potentially could get an opportunity to chase them on their way out, but it's going to be level 16, closely achieved for Team Wa, and that's a keep going down for, turtling is the name of the game, scaling is the name of the game, but you just lost your keep, and this game is looking disastrous for the side of Team Simplicity.
They are way too far behind at this point. They haven't gotten a single kill all game, and they are falling behind with another talent in just another moment. 2 levels of a gap, and here comes the 16, and that is a huge problem, especially since we now have even more control against Zeratul. Stitches has a 16. That's amazing. That slow alone is going to be huge against Kure. And it's not like Kure had an easy game up to this point.
Yeah.
So we talked about it earlier. They let Zeratul through. They said, Kure, we don't care. Pick your Zeratul. Show us what you got. And up to this point, they've dealt with him very, very well. And this is a tough one for Simplicity, because look at it from their point of view. They got the draft they wanted. They got Zeratul. They were like, all right, boys, let's go. Let's show them what's up and make sure that we're going to take game number 1 here. And if that doesn't work, where do you go from here?
Yeah, no, I definitely feel like the Imperious pick for ultralisk. I mean, he got banned out a little bit. Oh, his unaverted here on the Anubrak is going to be getting gone on and is down, going to fall. Legacy getting hooked as well, and that's going to be a gorge. Is there a blink target? We're going to see Kure on the Zeratul try and get him out, but daykwaza with a perfect stun timing. The second he pops out of that gorge, doesn't have an opportunity to blink. That's the 30 ping coming into play. Kevin on the daykwaza hitting a massive stun.
Yeah, good one, Madara. Yeah, he's predicting the future already. I like this kid. Ooh. Madara gets taken down too. The meme strike that we had earlier from him. The last one I honestly didn't get. I'm not quite sure what he was trying to hit there, but that didn't work out. Now we got the blue team all the way to the keep in the mid lane. And they are like, I mean, if they can't destroy it here, they're definitely going to take it down like super low. There's still only 2 defenders on the map. Zeratul and Leo, and Nuburak is back to business too. Does have his cocoon, but the keep is going to fall. And now it's just a question of if they can force anything here, or if Team Wa is easily going to move back.
Kure doing a decent amount of damage here. So one thing I will say, the hook, Kure! The Imperious followed by, but he's taking 6 HP! Holy moly, that was game over if Kure dies there for the side of Simplicity. But now you have a level 16 to level 18, all right? This is an even talent tier fight at this point, right? This game is winnable. I mean, Copium. NA Copium, winnable. But it is, all right? This is a 16 to 18.
You are right.
This is possible.
This is the one moment. This is the moment where you have to make the play now. But there comes the Gorge. They go for Nuburak. The Entomb is out. Immediately countered by the bunker. The silence! And the kill! Hopes and dreams are getting crushed here as Michael is falling silent, Kure is on the run, and the European team is going for the next kill here. They make it 11, nobody's fallen yet. Kure is trying for a counter kill. Brightwing helping out Kure once again, and he gets Sylvanas. Kill number 1 for Simplicity, but Kure dies as well. Worth it.
Worth it. Makke down, big mental damage, all right? But yeah, Madara here doesn't have the jump up as well, and that's... Okay, yeah, that's going to be a dead Hanzo. Legacy trying to escape at this point on the Brightwing, but this looks like a very sad and scary situation for the side of Simplicity. Legacy is going to survive, but I don't know if it matters or survive for how long, right? As this level 20 is going to be closely approaching for Team Wa. Would expect to see them stall out this Punisher. You see Nagrom walking over to the Bruiser camp. They want to get level 20. They want to push and end with this Punisher, and I think they might be able to do it. 2 keeps down.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, I can see from here the admins are going to walking over to Simplicity, bringing them some aloe vera for all of the burns that they received this game. But yeah, with level 20 up in just another second, 13 kills to 1. Simplicity, they need a miracle here. They absolutely do. And we have seen crazy comebacks, so Wa hasn't won it yet, but obviously at this point they have all the cards in their hands to end this game and end it soon. With Storm talents, yeah, it's going to be really a tall order for Simplicity to come back in this one. I mean, anything besides a team wipe, and they are going to lose this one. And Kure is already in trouble. The hook comes in. Punisher wants a piece of the action as well. daykwaza missing the jet propulsion on the other hand. And here comes Simplicity going for the Hail Mary, but they lose Zeratul. They lose him early. And they lose the Nuburak too. 2 down already. The red team in trouble as Madara bites the dust. Pants dies next. And only Brightwing survives. Immediately, we have the move towards the core legacy.
He's going
yeah, exactly. Saving his KDA, but this is going to be the end of game number 1 in the best of 5 series at the winner bracket final. Team taking the lead against the North American team.
In a pretty decisive fashion. I mean, Simplicity only got 1 kill, and we saw Kure had to sacrifice his life for it, right? And that was at the end of a team fight that went pretty disastrously for the side of Simplicity. I really, really well played by Team WA, especially, I would say, in the drafting phase going into this. This is game number 1. We were talking about the Zeratul, and I think they built a beautiful composition for it. Ultralisk got banned out. You know, Kerrigan taken away, Maev taken away. And he said, bro, you think I have a tiny hero pool? What? Picking the Imperious and playing impeccably on it, right? There were so many times Mascarade hits a hook. The second that they get to him, the Imperious is instantly there to follow up. So I just want to commend him. Such a good job on that Imperious.
But I feel it was also a little bit... Again, it was a bit of a bait too, because Zeratul got picked, and you talked about it. Are they banning Zeratul? Are they banning Tracer?
Yeah.
And they just said, no, we're not. We are going to test if Kure is really that big of a problem for us in the way that we play. Yeah. And you could see the Imperious, they waited for Ultralisk for the last pick, and they're always flexing with him. And he comes in, he doesn't take a range, he doesn't take like a huge assassin, he goes for someone that applies even more CC. So all of a sudden, whenever Zeratul wants to make the engage, he has to deal with the slows that are coming out from the other team. There's a silence available, there's a couple of stuns that they can throw out, and then of course with the Imperious, you can lock him down even harder. And you could tell that it was really tricky for Kure. Every time he tried to move in, multiple players were on him immediately, and he couldn't make the play. So that was them playing extremely well and drafting well against Zeratul. But at the same time, if you're Simplicity, what do you do now? Because as I said during the game, you got your Zeratul, you got an aggressive composition. It didn't work, not even close.
Yeah, it wasn't even. It's not even like it was a close game.
Exactly. Yeah. How do you recover from here? What's your next play? You try to go for macro? Do you just shrug it off and say, okay, let's see if we're going to get our Tracer composition in. Let's rely on the Zeratul and just like shrug this one off and go for attempt number 2?
So I think if you're on Simplicity, right, like when I've been in situations like this, you're like, okay, they prepped for that. They had a draft specifically ready for us to bait our Zeratul. You know, and maybe it's something where they don't force it as hard, and it's more of, okay, we'll pick Zeratul if we see a good opportunity. Yeah. We're not going to pick it no matter what, because this is the team that we know has the tools and the know-how to be able to shut that down. And just one thing I want to note for the last game, Hanzo ended up picking that meme strike, right? And I feel like that's a pick that I've seen Madara have success on, but I feel like in this game, they needed the arrow. Yeah. They needed either the engage or disengage tool, right? Stitch is hooking someone, gorging them, walking away, they're all clumping up. I feel like if a Hanzo arrow hits them right as they basically try to pop the person from the gorge, gives a little bit of time for the Brightwing to Z in. I feel like they needed that Dragon Arrow, and I think if they had it in the game, I mean, I don't know if they would have won. That's not what I'm saying, but I think they would have had better tools to be able to deal with what WA was trying to do.
Now, I can see the same argument being made for Meme Strike in the sense that if that gorge comes together, everybody's clumping up around Stitches. If you hit that spot, then they can't really go for the kill without taking damage, and you hope to go for a follow-up. But you never hit them. And I said before that I watched some games of Madara where he really he used the Meme Strike in a way where he sectioned off parts of the opponent's team and literally drove a wedge between them, and that worked beautifully well. But in this one, he missed several ones, like severely. In the mid lane, we had this one opportunity for Team Y to get a kill. They got a hook, they got the gorge, and then you see Hanzo coming in and he wants to use the Meme Strike, but he misses the entire team utterly, and it's not even close. So that thing did nothing. That was also the moment when he went straight for the spray game, and I like that.
He laid down the spray. Yeah.
But yeah, so he realized it too. But I feel like if they go for that talent, for that heroic, they have to get more use out of it. And in this game, it definitely didn't happen. So an arrow here travels a bit faster, a bit easier to connect. If they get that stun out, then yes, maybe Kure has a bit more wiggle room, has like that half second that he needs to come in, get a kill, use his mobility to jump in, jump out, or they just buy the time for Brightwing, as you pointed out, for Brightwing to get the save. I mean, either way.
I just feel like it was too all in on the late game. You know, it's like, if they hit level 20, oh my gosh, their comp would have been so scary, right? Leo, Zeratul, Hanzo, but you already have so many late game. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, right? You already have this massive level 21 or 20s power spike. You don't need to make it that much a little bit better. I just feel like Dragon Arrow would have helped them get to that point. But I mean, going back to your earlier question, how does Simplicity turn around into this next game? You know, what comp do they pull out?
Let me follow up on that. Do you think their confidence is shaken now, or do you think this is something where they say, okay, this was so one-sided.
Yes.
Forget about it.
I think it depends on the player. I think Kure, I mean, he's the one that plays the Zeratul. I don't think Kure's confidence is shaken, right? I think Kure's been in a lot of these situations on a LAN stage where, you know, he's down 1 game. He's down maybe 2 games and able to pull off a reverse sweep. So I think he's probably calm, cool, collected. Some of these other players where, you know, maybe it's their first LAN, you know, they went into it, had a very dominant loss, you know, not in their favor in the first game. Maybe it's a little bit shaken of like, oh, wow, like these EU guys hit different.
Okay, let me phrase it a little bit. When you're in a situation and you get utterly stomped, is that easier for you to deal with than a loss where it's like really on the brink or not? Because, you know, you can shrug it off, be like,
I think they chalk it up to draft.
This is so, we're getting so stomped right now. This is like, this didn't work. The draft didn't work out. Early game fell apart. Just screw it. Doesn't matter. I feel like from a certain point of view, this could be easier to stomach than you having a battle for every single fight, and then the end, it's like a crushing defeat in the last one, and you lose it.
No, I think this is an easier loss to bounce back from than that example. Or, I mean, like, let's say the Simplicity Diamond Hands one on Volskaya, right? That 0 to 8%. I think that's a way more tilting loss, especially for Gotfilth on the fall side, right? Where it's like he makes a slight misplay and they win that game. I think this is an easier one to bounce back just because, you know, they gave us our Zeratul, and they had a specific plan to counter that Zeratul. And guess what? It freaking worked. It worked really well. And I think that if you're Simplicity, you're like, okay, they beat us in draft. They had something really good prepped. We're going to try something different for the second game. But if they get stomped again in the second game with a different draft, then at that point, I think the mental damage is going to be really big.
And the second game, talking about it, we're jumping in it. As you can see, Tomb of the Spider Queen is the map. And instantly, we have Kerrigan banned out. They don't like you.
I'm sad. I want to see Uli play some Kerrigan. But also, it's like, I feel like Uli has such a big hero pool. You know, I wonder if, you know, maybe they've played against it in scrims and it's just done really, really well against them. But I don't know. I kind of feel like Mascarade Stitches is a problem. You know, maybe that's just me. Maybe they don't have to ban it in the first rotation. But I feel like he was hitting a lot of hooks and was also just like an unkillable God King that they couldn't really do much to.
I'm a bit curious to see if we're going to have Medivh popping up a little bit more, because Ultralisk was really known for the longest time for his Medivh plays, and then the hero was more or less disregarded by them completely. And I haven't seen him play Medivh for before this tournament for quite a long time. So he played it yesterday. And I want to see if that happens again, because now his hero pool is again addressed. They stick with the pattern. They go straight for the Kerrigan ban. They ban out Maiev. And honestly, I understand it. So I get it. Simplicity just has identified a problem that they don't want to deal with. And so they're saying like, okay, whatever happens, we're going to ban this.
So same bans. And the question is, does Simplicity go for that Brightwing again? I personally would love to see a maybe potentially Blaze pick up here. I feel like that hero is so powerful. I felt like, okay, so they go for the Rhaegar instead. So not allowing that Rhaegar Blaze rotation again for the side of Team Wah, I think, is a smart decision. But you still gave away the Blaze to daykwaza, and I felt like he was so impactful on that hero. The bunker is so good, and I feel like that hero into Zeratul is pretty strong, right? Being able to lay down the oils, having the stun, having the bunker for your team to be able to hop into and basically get out of. You know, I feel like I don't want to see Simplicity force that Zeratul again, especially if they get, you know, Sylvanas Blaze. Boom, there it is.
Yep, there it is right away. So daykwaza, once again, he has the chance to get his Blaze. He locks it in. We have Sylvanas for makke, and that is already a little bit of a deterrent for Zeratul, who knows immediately he's going to be facing off against slows, he's going to be facing off against the silence later on, that he was hit with several times in the last game too, and the stun that Blaze can, of course, also bring to the table. Not even talking about bunker to save whoever is targeted here. But yeah, daykwaza is definitely going to be happy about this. Oh, okay, I like this. That's cheeky.
Yes. And they instantly pick up the Stitches and the Mephisto. They say, makke, no Mephisto for you.
Yeah. We know you just picked Sylvanas, but there's no hero swapping going around. We've seen your games. We like the idea. Let's get the Mephisto in here. And then they steal the Stitches away as well. So yeah, I like that. That's cheeky.
And they still save their last 2 picks. So potentially, you know, could still see Zera. I mean, I think with the Mephisto, maybe you want more of a frontline or something like a Yrel. They do ban away the Leo. That would have been another option. But the Stitches picked away so early is another one I'm interested. I mean, I don't know how much Team Wah has actually played against the Stitches in this tournament, so I'll really be curious to see what their counter is into that pick, right? Like, what do they take away? Like, Medivh's still up. If they don't ban it, that is a good hero for Ultralisk. The Portal, the Shield,
could go for the Crybaby. Get Anduin in for a couple of pulls, for example. Like, even Medivh, if Medivh is able to get a portal in, and if they still want to play along those lines, they can get the portal, they can get the shield out. There's a couple of tools that you can throw against it, I feel. But they haven't played a lot against Stitches. They hadn't, at least on the European side, they are usually the ones picking it, so they didn't have a lot of players that were using Stitches against them, so we'll see how they deal with it. But there's Diablo, and there's Medivh.
Yep. the start of the game, you said you wanted to see more Ultralisk Medivh, and we've got it. Diablo going to be a very, very hard hero to kill this game for the side of Simplicity. I mean, Rhaegar, Mephisto, Stitches, none of them really have percent damage. None of them really do that much to a Diablo. Granted, they still have another DPS and an offlane pick left, so they could get more, but Leo's been taken off the board, right? That's the main offlaner you use into the hero of Diablo, so I'd expect Mascarade to have a pretty... Okay, you do get the Mouth Ale, and you get the Falstad, so a pretty squishy comp for the side of Simplicity. I mean, I guess you have the Gust to basically potentially be a tool off of that Medivh portal, you know, being able to Gust them out of position.
And I think for the isolation, Stitches Gorge, you get the Gust, and you try to go for the isolation kill with Mouth Ale going into last rites. I mean, you got a lot that you can use there.
But you have a Medivh on the other side. So it's like, I see what they could do, but I just think it's going to be pretty hard. And they get the Uther as well. So now they have 2 tools to save that target. They have the D-Shield. They have the portal from Medivh. And they also actually 3 tools. They also have Bunker. But, I mean, Blaze probably won't be in position because it is just kind of hard with the Gorge.
I mean, with Medivh, it's also a question. If they really go, if Simplicity really goes Gorge Gust, if he does it well, Medivh shouldn't be able to save the target. It just need to be fast. But then, of course, if you are relying on your last rites to kill someone, that has a little bit of a wind-up time there. So we'll see how it goes. But as you already said, with Uther being picked now by them, they have a lot of tools that they can use against the last rites and against also Stitches. They have the stuns as well. But a very, very different approach this time from Simplicity, which I like. But for Team... They are in the comfort zone right now. This is stuff that they've played before, and I think they're feeling very, very happy with what they got, considering what they're facing.
And their draft is looking very powerful, right? Like, if there's one team I'm favoring in this game, draft-wise, it's definitely Team Wall. You know, I'll always support my NA boys. I think they have some tools to win this game, but I definitely feel like
we're going to win you over.
Coming out of draft, what do you mean win me over? Look at my CCL team, dude. I drafted so many Europeans because I know that they're cracked, all right? Like, I'm sad Dido's not here either. But, yeah, it's like... I just feel like the side of Team Wa has such a powerful draft going into this one. And speaking of Team Wa, we've got Nagrom playing that Uther. We've got daykwaza on the Blaze, Mascarade playing the Diablo, Ultralisk on that Medivh, and makke playing the Sylvanas.
Yeah, this is going to be really, really good right now. At this point, of course, Stitches, we have to focus on him once again. If they are able to land those big hooks with Unaverted here, then they can try and get these isolation kills. And at the same time, Mascarade can be terrifying on Diablo. Now, last time they played this combo with Medivh and with Diablo, they didn't go for Leyline into APOC. They instead picked Lightning Breath, and I would expect the same thing to happen here again. You don't have to use that as a wombo. But of course, you have some follow-up on the Leyline also with Sylvanas herself. If she lands a good Wailing Arrow with good timing, they can definitely try and get a kill off that ult. But definitely an interesting comp now and an interesting dynamic. Stitches and his hooks, we're going to keep an eye on him, and we're going to see, especially after level 10, if that potential last rites from Malthus, we're still expecting here, is going to help them to lock these kills in.
I mean, they could potentially, there's a world where maybe they go Tormented Souls. Kure here in a bit of a scary situation, actually. Going to be falling pretty low legacy, able to get the heal off, but Kure still taking a lot of damage. daykwaza going in, Kure going down to about 20 HP, and he's going to fall as they're looking to go for one more here. Legacy on the Rhaegar is going to be the next hero in their sights, and the next hero that is going to die.
Yeah, and that was well played by Mascarade. He got first the wall stun off, and then he positioned himself to the left to make sure that once he flips the target over, he would be completely surrounded by the blue team. And that's, of course, a fantastic start for Team. They get the 2 kills to 0 and a bit of map control, which allows them to easily move down to the bot lane and get those Siege Giants. So yeah, pretty well done from them. So with 2 kills to 0, a little bit of early dominance by them. Obviously, it's not the end of the world yet for the team in red, but it's off to another good start for the Europeans. And, I mean, that leaves you in a bit of an annoying situation if you're playing for Simplicity right now. That doesn't feel good when you come from a loss, and then that's how the game starts up.
And you're already down almost a level, as it looks like Madara here on the Mephisto going to be looked to throw actually a pretty good amount of damage here, defending this bot from the Siege Giants. And one thing to note, since they did opt into that Uther, they don't have that good of AoE healing, right? Like, Uther is a hero that's very good at single target healing, and Mephisto, the name of the game is AoE damage. So maybe into this later game, Madara is going to be a hero that I'm definitely watching of how much impact is he able to get on that Mephisto. Is he able to throw down a lot of AoE damage? Because I think that's going to be very important for the win condition of Team Simplicity.
Yeah, another thing that we also can keep our eyes on is obviously the stacking of Medivh, who's currently sitting at 17, so doing a fairly good job. Not quite as quick as he was yesterday with it. Finished the quest.
He was like done at this point,
yeah,
or 35.
344. 344
yes.
or 55 or something along those. Before the 4-minute mark is when he completed it. It was crazy.
The craziest part was he had 20 stacks at like 45 seconds.
Yes.
I was like, what?
That first fight went really well for him. This time he's a little bit slower, but up to this point he's still doing well. We have a couple of gems turned in by Simplicity. I like it. So they're getting rid of them as quickly as they can. 20 already turned in, whereas the blue team has so far made no moves towards the turning point. Bit of a battle between the heavy boys at the front. Diablo against Stitches here, and ultralisk is still angling for more hits as daykwaza has the entire bot lane to himself. Is like, well, I guess I'm going to take the ball, boys.
Yeah, getting a lot of split push pressure. Had those Sea Giants as well to help them earlier, as it looks like Simplicity is trying to defend off this mid push from the side of Team Wa. But Team Wa, I mean, they have 48 gems. They have more gems here, but they're really pretty content to just get all of these camps out and use that to get more pressure, right? They're up a wall right now. So if this first turn-in does go out, especially with the power of the Medivh and the Medivh portals, we could see an opportunity where Team Wa is maybe hovering around the mid side and makes a really aggressive bot dive onto Kure on this Malthael, maybe gets one kill, make them lose all those gens, and then secure a fort there as well. So that's something I'll be curious to see if Team Wa does get the first Webweaver phase, which I think they probably will be able to, as they're going to get hit level 7 first. Probably will use that to try and force the turn-in. Do they look to maybe dive this bot fort and actually finish the fort off since the wall's already dead?
Yeah, the last game that we saw from them yesterday on the map, they had 2 forts after the first push, which was just absolutely crazy. So if they can build momentum like this, that will of course be fantastic. Mascarade pausing the game, probably going to have some issues with voices. Normally, what happens here?
It's actually a mental pause. He's talking trash to the NA players. He's yelling at them.
3-2-3 moment, exactly. Splashing the bathrobe a little bit. The one thing that is also going to be interesting later on is there is a chance that we're going to talk about another big fight and at the boss pit, and this is like the OG throw pit on Tomb of the Spider Queen. And there are some tools that we have for Simplicity that I really like, especially, of course, Gust, which is going to be great in a situation like this. Since we're not expecting Tormented Souls to be picked here, I don't think that Kure is going to have the biggest impact on that fight. And then if you look at the other side, I mean, Bunker, again, the ley line, there's a lot of ults and a lot of abilities that we have for which should help them in a big boss battle. Yeah. So that's something where I'm a little bit worried for Simplicity. I mean, you know how it is. Sometimes you just end up in the position where you either need you're forced to take the fight at the boss because your opponent is about to hit level 20 and you want to force a battle before. So you're going for the boss and you say, if they don't fight us, we get a free boss if they wait for the level 20. If they do fight us, we at least get a team fight before they hit the Storm Talons. But that can always backfire. And I could definitely see a situation like this emerge one way or another, and then it comes down to how much point control do we really have. So if it comes to that situation, currently, with what we're expecting to be taking at 10, I would give the edge to the blue team.
Yeah, I would agree. I think Team Wa, with those level 10s, is really strong here, as it looks like, though, Simplicity looking to turn this around. daykwaza has 23 gems here, which is a pretty decent amount, falling relatively low, but able to escape on that Blaze. They don't have any CC really in this 4-man. Mascarade going to get body blocked a little bit, but going to be able to escape. But with this, positive traded HP bars for the side of Simplicity, they are going to be able to drop another 9 gems, so they've got 29 dropped. And this could be an opportunity for them to, continue dropping their gems, hit level 7, and maybe get the first turn in. Are they going to see Mascarade here? Yes, they will, as Pants is going to walk in. The hook comes out as unaverted, taking a decent amount of damage, but you're okay if that's the target that's getting gone on. Allows your backliners to step up, do a decent amount of damage. And level 7 closely approaching.
I gotta say a couple of good moves here from Simplicity. I like what they did at the bot lane. That was dangerous. That could have been a kill or even 2, and then you lose gems and more momentum is being built. So nicely done by Simplicity. Good job by them. And this is exactly what they need to do. They can't just like sit back and the entire time just wait for some mistakes on the side of the blue team. They have to be proactive about it. And that's what they're currently trying to do. They're working towards the first turn in.
Portal.
And this is gonna be a good one. Yeah.
They just don't have much CC off the hook though, is the thing. It's like they hit a hook, totem, that's it. It's you can't really kill anyone off of it, but Masca able to get 16 gems in. But
I was about to say during the draft, Uther would have been pretty nice for them as well. You hook someone in, you get the stun, but they don't have that. But I like how diligent they are about their turn-ins. We have 45 gems already turned in. So that's actually really, really good from Simplicity. They are very disciplined when it comes to objectives.
Yeah, and just constantly getting those small turn-ins, right? Normally you'll see people drop like 20, 15 gems, but we've seen Simplicity continually. You see Kure has 6 right now, trying to channel, just getting a little bit of gems in at a time, and Nagrom actually going for 14 gem turn in himself, but Simplicity is going to get the first turn in here, and this is an opportunity for them level 10 is going to be achieved at the current rate first for Team WA. So Simplicity really looking to maybe get a kill here, really looking to maximize this first push.
And obviously it would be fantastic for Team WA if they can get that level 10 as the push is still ongoing. And that's what it kind of looks like right now. Now, initially, we should see the red team capitalize on what's going on here, but the blue team has a chance to get their heroic abilities and then maybe even go for a kill or two. 34 stacks by now for ultralisks Medivh. He's getting closer to completing the quest, and that would be a big step for him. 38, and I think unless he gets hooked, he is going to lock this one down in just another second. Mid lane is getting defended. daykwaza sitting at the top. He has 32 gems. Nagrom is a little bit low and experiences quite a bit of damage at the hands of Madara's Mephisto. But the quest could be completed soon. The move towards the top, defense at the bot lane going well for the European team, and in the middle we are seeing the same thing happening.
But the level 10, just like you mentioned, Khaldor, so they're not really able to push up on that top lane. Maybe would have looked to go a little more aggressive if level 10 was not so close to being hit for Team WA. And with the first turn-in, I mean, not the best turn-in, but not the worst turn-in, right? Get mid-wall, get a decent amount of damage onto this mid 4, and also get, pretty good damage onto the top 4. Yeah. So if you're Simplicity, I mean, it's not the best turn-in you could have gotten, but it's not the worst, right? Like, it's not an like a situation where you don't hit any damage on the 4, and off of it, you're able to get the Siege Giant out, you're able to get the Bruiser out, so for the side of Team WA, you're going to have that little bit of extra defense that helps you from not losing too much.
Yeah, it's nothing to write home about, but at the same time, you've done what you were supposed to do. And we got the Tormented Souls, by the way. We don't have him with the last right, so Tormented Souls gets picked. That also changes the equation a little bit for potential boss battles later on. And yeah, he's probably going to try and go deep and then wait for Rhaegar's Ancestral to help him out. So Endurance of Fate for Mephisto, and here comes the turn-in, of course, for Team the Europeans now trying to push to the middle. Hooks are still coming out. They're making the play for Kure down at the bottom of the map, and he's in trouble. 11 gems for him as he's attempting to use the mobility. Tormented Souls gets immediately being popped, and the Ancestral of Rhaegar saves the day, but that's 2 ults already used by the red team as their bottom fort gets destroyed.
Yeah, and you see Team WA, they're going for the opportunity, going for the bot dive. I really like that. And ultralisk, 7 minutes, 44 seconds. Not as good as yesterday, but able to complete that turn-in. But Falstad here, going to get portaled on. Gets the gust out, but Mascarade perfectly times the devastating charge. And that's 17 gems that are going to be lost. That's a Falstad that's going to be taken down. But this is a very, you're pretty happy with this turn-in phase if you're the side of Team WA, finishing off the bottom fort, killing that Falstad, and also getting this top wall. So Legacy, no ultimate for another 55 seconds. Needs to be careful of potential portal play from ultralisk, but Kure actually just going in here aggressively, 4v5. Doesn't care that he doesn't have Falstad, and going a bit too aggressive and losing his life for it.
That was just too well played by daykwaza and Mascarade. Mascarade literally flipping him into the jet propulsion, and Kure didn't even know what hit him at this point, so he goes down immediately. And this is where Sylvanas is just so important for the blue team. She helps them to make this push even more devastating. There's the ley line. Do they follow up on it? And not in this case.
Nagrom, you beast, you monster! Sees the hook coming, hits that, hits the cleanse, says, nope!
Not on my watch. Nicely done. So yeah, he shuts that hook down. That would have been a big one for Unaverted and his team. If Simplicity gets a kill as Team retreats, that would have been big. But they didn't get it. Now the level 13 is about to drop. And of course, we're also looking still at 4 kills to 0.
Yeah, but level 13 has now been achieved for Team WA, also securing the Bruiser Cramp for themselves, and they have 86 gems at this point. This is an opportunity where they're going to go for a second turn-in, or they're just going to look to portal on, look for a hard engage if, Simplicity looks to defend too hard here and just gets a little bit out of position as we see Kure and Madara looking to clear out this middle camp, and daykwaza is able to get the second turn-in. Maske looking for a charge into a flip, not going to be able to get it, but I like that, looking for the aggressive opportunity. And here comes level 13 Kure actually on the bottom lane. You see Ultra dropping the portal. This is a scary situation for Kure on this Malthael.
I like the way he's thinking about this, but is daykwaza going to see him? He gets out.
Game sense on fleek.
That was well played by Kure. He knew exactly. If he goes to the right, he's dead.
Yes.
So that was well done by him, and a close call regardless. I gotta say, by the way, since a lot of people are always talking about, lack of damage and what can you do, if you look at the damage numbers right now, it is the red team that is consistently higher in every single damage category over the blue team, but they cannot get those kills. And instead, we're now having, again, another problem here with the ley line into APOC. This time they go for the wombo, but is that the kill? The Divine Shield is out, and what an ult by makke. The silence is there.
Oh no,
the bird is down, but Mephisto comes in, takes daykwaza down. Sylvanas dies as well. Gems are being lost. And Mascarade is trying to escape here with nagrom doing what he can to keep his boys alive. But there it is, the double kill for Simplicity as they finally show some signs of life.
And if you're Simplicity, you're happy. But if you're Team Wall, I think you're also kind of, I mean, not the ideal situation, but you get bot wall, you get a decent amount of damage on top wall as well. So, you know, really that fight could have gone either way. We saw makke hit the massive 3-person silence, but Legacy on that Rhaegar able to hit the perfectly timed Ancestral on Kure, and Madara just laying down the damage on the Mephisto, allowing them to turn and win that team fight. And we are in for a game number 2, ladies and gents. This is a much closer game than the first one.
That one kept them in game.
Yes.
That one kept them in the game. If they don't win that fight, if they don't make a play there, then they are in trouble. Now the camp is taken. Q has to retreat here. And of course, everybody is coming back. The birdie flying in a little bit deep, realizing that he might have overextended slightly.
Daykwaza.
And here comes daykwaza with a jet propulsion, hitting 3, and the gust to save the day. Madara is trying to get away here. The bunker is already out. And both teams walk away from a fight that would have been a big problem for Simplicity in another second, because 16 is about to hit for Team Wow.
Yeah, and they're looking to drop some of their gems here, and they're actually going to get a pretty decent drop. They need to be careful maybe overextending here, as Unaverted wasn't able to get the rest of his gems dropped. But that's big. For your Simplicity, you know, you're down right now. Waz got 16 advantage, but you already dropped 42 of your gems, right? So if someone does get caught, if someone puts in a scary situation where, you know, you do lose a couple of heroes, you still, at the very least, only need another 13 gems, which you can collect later on in the game. But I would expect to see Simplicity hit level 16 here, and then we're in for another one. We're in for another team fight. And I think level 16 is a decent power spike, you know, for this Mephisto, who really is the main damage dealer for the side of Team Simplicity in these team fights. I mean, we saw how he was able to turn it around in that last one.
Yeah, Mephisto is insane, especially in the late game. He's currently sitting at 35,000 damage. To just give you guys a bit of a comparison. Malthael as well, by the way. Both of them at roughly the same damage numbers here. And he's trying to pat them a bit against nagrom, who gets the shield and moves out. No Divine Shield used just yet. Here comes the APOC. The ley line combo doesn't really work out for them, but they're making a play for Kure. The Ancestor is being hit by Rhaegar, but Kure is still in a bit of trouble. So is Uther, though. The stun and the kill. Uther gets away. Malthael is down. The aspect of death got deaded again. But Madara, he is still stacking the damage numbers here. Same time, though, the European team looking for another kill. This time it's unaverted. They got their attention. They're moving in for Stitches, and they drop him too.
They can't do anything to Mascarade, though, in the front line. Literally just 1v3ing the back line, saying, what do you do to my Diablo? What do you do to my big red tomato? The answer is nothing, as Madara is the next hero in their sights, trying to take an aggressive Mimic in, but going to lose their life for it, as that's going to be 4 heroes falling on the side of Simplicity, and they have 44 gens. This is a boss turn-in opportunity for the side of Team Wa.
I'm actually amazed Team Wa didn't lose a single player here. So many opportunities for a kill here. Uther himself was several times just down to a sliver of health. Now we have 9 kills to 2. We are 13, 14 minutes into the game. The turn-in opportunity, as you already said, is there, and they can go for the boss as well. Big team fight for Team Wa. They did incredibly well there. Tons and tons of damage on the side of the red team, but they just cannot get these kills when they're so important. Here comes the boss. They got the turn in. It's a 2-level lead nearly once again, and they are going to aim for that top keep. So how is Simplicity going to hand it?
Yeah, I mean, this is a scary situation definitely for the side of Team Simplicity here, as the boss and the Web Weaver phase is coming into them. Their bottom keep is pretty low, so you see Kure pushing out that wave, wanting to keep it alive, but really this top keep, this top fight is going to be the name of the game. And Unaverted actually able to start it off with a decent chance here. Yeah, Medivh's going to maybe be able to hit the portal. D-Shield does come out. Gus not able to connect, was a little bit low, as Madara uses his ult as well. They get that hook, though.
Yeah, Mascarade playing Stitches himself that much obviously knows exactly what he's in for. But still, good move. No, the kill. Kure is down. This push went from keep to potentially core as Falstad gets bullied into the wall. The bird is dead, back in the KFC basket, and here comes the keep. They're taking it down. 11 kills to 2, and they're going to make the play here. Makke is low, but he survives, and if another player dies for Simplicity, then Team Wa is going to to walk towards the core.
Madara putting in work with this defense. Definitely still a potential win opportunity for the side of Team Wa as they have massive web weavers coming in from every side. Can Madara keep it alive? The Ancestral was a bit early, though, from Legacy. Was afraid he was going to take more damage, but Madara doing everything he can to try and keep his team alive. But the core is going low, 60%, 50%. I think this is going to be it for Team Wa as they have a massive amount of minions here. Can Madara save it? No, he can't. And that's 2 games going to the European team.
GG, a quick 2-0. Obviously, we're still in the best of 5, but even if they lose their team fight, all keeps were down at that moment in time. Bottom keep has fallen to the web weavers, the mid keep has fallen, and once that Fawcett got killed, Kure and Fawcett, they both die, and at that point, you know, oh, this isn't about keeps anymore. We're talking about game.
Yes, and that was, I mean, really well played from Watt. It looked like they potentially had the Stitches hook into, you know, getting that Uther out, but that's just the power of the Medivh plus the Uther. You know, de-shield yourself, walk over to the portal, and you're out. And, you know, unlucky for Pants, his gust was like a millisecond too late, but that's a hard opportunity to hit. You know, Uther just trying to de-shield himself really has, like, there's just a millisecond opportunity for you to actually hit that, and, you know, on this stage, it's hard to do that.
It was a great hook. It was a fantastic hook, but during the draft, we already said, once that Stitches got picked, we talked about the Medivh as an option.
Yeah.
And exactly this happened. This is a situation where you picked him for that moment.
Yeah.
The hook comes in, it's the kill opportunity. If Uther dies, that push doesn't do anything.
They don't lose a keep.
They defend, everything's fine, but then the Divine Shield, they didn't hesitate on that either. They just said, we need to go for that immediately, and then obviously they did a great job here. Just moving back to the top lane, keeping everybody safe, and then moving in for the kill.
Yeah, but I mean, 12 kills to 2. It felt like a much closer game than that, right?
Yes.
Team Wa had 12 kills. Like, that last fight, we saw, you know, 4 heroes on Team Wa at like 200, 300, 400 HP.
The bottom push, when they went at the bot lane trying to kill those heroes, if they grab 1 or 2 of them, it's a different game. So that was the opportunity for Simplicity. Didn't work out. It was a really nice move back. But again, this was much closer than game number 1. Now, of course, guys, this is a best of 5 series, so we've got a couple more games coming up, but I think some of the players need to fix some of their things. I don't know why exactly happened to Mascarade a little bit earlier. It seemed like he had to deal with his peripherals a little bit with the mouse and keyboard there, so we're going to double check with them. We're going to go into a short break, couple of minutes, and then we're going to be back with game number 3, so stay tuned, and we'll be back with the next match between Team Wa and Simplicity. Welcome back. We are getting ready for game number 3. Currently here in the winner bracket final, we have a 2-0 lead for Team against Simplicity. Third map is Cursed Hollow. Yeah. Good map. And of course, now Simplicity has to dig deep to start that reverse sweep that they're hoping for to advance to the grand final right away, not have to drag themselves through the losers bracket here.
I like the dig deep, and I'm hoping for a Dahaka on Kure. You know, we had those fire tongues yesterday.
We did, yes.
Yeah. So, you know, maybe that's what they need to swap it up. I felt like, you know, first game, definitely draft favorite for Wa. Execution was really there. But that second game was a little bit closer, but definitely feel like Team Wa came to play in this series and really have been establishing dominance so far. Series isn't over. It's a best of 5. Simplicity could make that reverse sweep happen. And on this Cursed Hollow, that's going to be, you know, the first map where they need to make it happen. I feel like the drafts have been in favor of Team Wa so far this entire series, and I really would like to see maybe Simplicity get themselves some sort of global, and we see the insta Zeratul ban for the side of Team Wa. I mean, Cursed Hollow, one of the better Zeratul maps, and I like this. I mean, even though they beat it on game 1, just not wanting to have to deal with it. You know, I like that.
I gotta say I'm a little bit surprised looking at this now, because this is first pick, first ban for Team Wa, which means that the map choice was made by Simplicity. So they opted for map choice over first pick, and they chose Cursed, which to me was always more of a European map than a North American map. Now, they must have something prepared here, because this is not a map where I would normally say, okay, and an A team is going to pick that against Europe.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe this is just like me having like a bit of a wrong impression here, but in my head, I associate that more with the style and what's being played on the European side. So
I mean, I think Kure likes this map with the Zeratul or the Dahaka, but both of those are banned for the side of Team Wa. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think that was a really good read from them again in the draft.
I like it because of the Zeratul and the Dahaka. Oh, by the way, both of them are banned now.
Both of them are gone. Okay, but they do. Okay, so this is interesting. Falstad Sylvanas banned, you know, 2 DPS for the side of Team 250. And daykwaza opts for that first pick Blaze, even though Johanna's up, right? They prioritize the Blaze over the Johanna here. And I will say daykwaza has been playing so well on that hero, but 2 of, you know, going into this tournament, I think heroes that people would consider to be S-tier picks, that Johanna, that Rhaegar, are going to be taken.
Yeah, I'm a bit curious to see what else is coming out from them now, especially since now Carrick and Maiev are obviously both still open, so ultralisk is all of a sudden in a position where he might be able to play a hero that he wants to play. I walked past them a bit earlier during the break and asked him like, oh, how does it feel being target banked? And he's just like rolled his eyes. He's like, I want to play my heroes. So we have a chance for him to maybe getting his Maiev here, but first we're starting with a makke and his Lunara. And Brightwing obviously for a little bit of global action and also the CC that she brings.
Yeah, I mean, the only, unless they want to go like an ETC stage dive, really the only global left in the pool with the Falstad and Dahaka taken away. And this is the 3rd time in a row we've seen the Tyrael taken away in that 3rd ban slot for Simplicity. So that's hero they don't want to deal anymore. I agree with you. I like it here. I've liked it in the last 2, but it seems like a lot of respect going on to Mascarade's Tyrael, and rightfully so. His sanctifications are fire. I feel like he's definitely the best tank player at the LAN on that hero right now.
A good Tyrael player is so annoying to deal with, and this is a good map for it. You have the double layer of defense with Tyrael bringing the sanctification out and then Blaze getting the bunker in shortly after that, so it's a huge sustain in a team fight. And since this map you would normally send us at some point around boss battles, get rid of him if you have a very, very good Tyrael player against you. So I like the ban patterns that we are seeing from Simplicity here. But they need to bring something out, and I still need to see why Cursed Hollow was the choice. Because it's not really all that normal that a team that loses a map goes first pick.
Yeah, no, most of the time. Actually, I feel like more and more in the meta, people have been opting for first pick. Like during CCL playoffs, 30K would opt for if they... Actually, they didn't really lose that much, but when they would lose, they'd opt for first pick. You know, I feel like there are a couple of the top teams...
No, but that's what I'm saying. You opt for first pick normally, right?
I mean opt for map pick. Opt for map pick. I misspoke. Right. And I think some people are just a lot more confident on different maps. And I think that there is some advantage for the second pick, especially with Blaze being so high up in the meta. I mean, we saw Team Wa the last 2 games being able to get the Blaze in that 1-2, or... Yeah, being able to get the Blaze in the 1-2 and just a very strong hero. And Maiev coming out for ultralisk here doesn't get banned this game, and he's able to play it. And Mascarade again on that Stitches. I mean, I just look at the side of Team Wa's comp, and it's a lot of S-tier heroes in my opinion.
And it's also one of those things where a lot of damage is going to come from Lunara and from Maiev, but you have a front line that is already so super annoying to deal with. How do you get to Lunara? I mean, with that front line, Maiev is going to tether you 6 days to Sunday, dropping the cage or the disc on you. You have Stitches that you need to get around somehow. Once he hits the 16, he has the slows 2. Then you have Blaze with the oil spill. You have the jet propulsion. Kure is going for Tracer right now. We wanted his Tracer. We got his Zeratul. Now we have his Tracer. So he needs to be that mosquito that buzzes around the map and starts to poke them down slowly. And he could be the one that makes the play for Lunara and blows her up. Has to be.
I mean, they have the Brightwing Poly, right? One of the scariest abilities for that Tracer is they go in, they get polymorphed, can't click blink anymore, can't click recall.
Yep.
But outside of that, they actually don't have that much CC until Stitches potentially hits that 16, able to get that slow. I mean, Blaze, it's really hard to hit your charge. I mean, unless they're potentially polyed. So they really just have a lot of slows. Maiev maybe with the pull, but Poly is going to be that big cooldown we're looking at. The Nagrom versus Kure matchup. But I think this is a pretty good Tracer game so far for your Kure. Not a lot of CC, but also not a lot of targets that they can go on. You know, really it's only Lunara, only Brightwing. Stitches is pretty much unkillable. Blaze is pretty much unkillable. Maiev has the D that they can activate, so...
And by the way, guys, before we're heading into the game, there's also a giveaway up. We have a lot of banners with the maps, big Heroes of the Storm banners here on the venue, and they are going to be signed by the players. So if you want to win one of those, all you got to do is head over to Twitter, NLG Miami. Go to the Twitter, retweet, like, and follow the last tweet there. You're going to see the giveaway right away. Those things are pretty sick. I'm going to try and sneak myself one on the plane as well. But if you want to have one sent with all the players and everybody signing it, then super easy giveaway to raffle out, so definitely make sure that you check that out. NLG Miami is the Twitter account. We're going to talk about it later as we're heading into the game right now. We are on Cursed Hollow, and on the right side,
we've got my NA boys trying to make the reverse sweep happen. We've got Fancy Pants playing the Khaldor, Kure on the Tracer, Madara playing the Hanzo, Unaverted on the Johanna, and Legacy playing that Rhaegar.
And on the left side, ultralisk, of course, happy on his Maiev. Makke is the one is playing Lunara here. We got nagrom and Brightwing, Mascarade on Stitches, playing the big boy again. Finally some playtime. And Blaze, currently up at the top lane in his 1v1 against Hogger, played by daykwaza. Once again, third time in a row.
I'm going to be really curious. What ultimate do we see from Madara? Kure, oh, barely juking out the hook there. Potentially could have been a death situation if he did get hit there. But yeah, I'm just really curious to see what ultimate does Madara go for. Does he go for the Dragon Strike? Does he go for the arrow? You know, we saw the Dragon Strike on Infernal Shrines. Don't feel like it got the most value. I mean, this is a map where it is good on the boss points, but I don't know. I feel like the arrow is so good for that AoE CC, especially with the Tracer going in. Potentially, if the Johanna goes Falling Sword, just is nice for that extra dive potential with their team.
Yeah, Masquerade, he seems to have some issues. I think like he mentioned something about some of his equipment that he had to change something, so I feel we're going to see some small adjustments here made by him. But yeah, with the 2-0, it's obviously always a little bit annoying when you have like these small technical problems creeping up because it gets you out of the flow a bit. Thankfully, it's early on in the game. It's more annoying if you have it in the big team fight.
If someone's like bossing and
20
it's like,
minutes in, you know, and then it happens. Now we're 40 seconds into the game, so nothing really big happening here. But apparently Masquerade is having some issues with his mouse is what he's currently writing to chat here and letting all of us know. So yeah, he's a little bit sorry about that. I don't know why. In Europe, he has no qualms about like stalling games like all the time. He's always late. I don't know why, but the French are always late. I'm sorry to say.
Or right on time, you know, for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Late for you, right on time for them.
Yeah.
You know, they show up when they need to be there. But Kure, you know, getting a little annoyed about the pauses. So maybe Masca just inflicting a little bit of that mental damage. Just, you know, we're up 2-0.
I mean, they're pretty close. They can like pretty much shout at each other from afar here, but yeah.
I would love to see that. I mean, I love seeing the players up on stage. I mean, I feel like Gojira has been one of the biggest ones at this LAN center of hearing them get so hyped up, really yelling, screaming when they're having good team fights. And I like seeing that energy from the players, right? I mean, a lot of these, you know, people that have been playing very consistently at LANs don't bring that energy level that many games, but when we maybe get into the grand finals, I would love to see that as we are getting to those final games of just who wants it more, who has that more passion.
Exactly. But guys, while we're waiting for them to actually like fix all of this, once again, just to let you guys know, we got that raffle going on. So there's a lot of banners here that are hanging from the ceiling, Heroes of the Storm. They have like the wallpapers that we have from the maps, so like Cursed Hollow, Blackheart's Bay, and all of that. And we're going to raffle some of those out. Super easy to win. So again, you can head over to Twitter. NLG Miami is the Twitter account. I also retweeted it, so you can check it out there. And just simply follow the Twitter account, like the tweet, retweet it, and then we're going to raffle one of them out. Everybody here is going to sign it. The players are going to sign it. Cass is going to sign it. So if you want one of those hanging at the wall in your apartment, then that's definitely the way to go. So yeah, super easy. Check it out. NLG Miami is the account.
Yeah, and they're awesome. I mean, I love them. They're pretty big banners. Definitely something you could hang on your wall. If you do stream, you could throw it behind you as like a little bit of a stream banner, or also just be a cool thing on your wall. You know, people come in representing the Heroes of the Storm and let people know how much you like HOTS, how much you like the scene, or even just want a cool like visual art piece on your wall.
Yeah, and apparently, from what I can tell, we actually go into a quick remake, so I feel they have to restart his PC or whatever to make sure that everything's fixed. The banter was still going on, which I kind of like. Madara came in and is like, hey, don't remake, I'm about to kill nagrom. And I'm looking at the minimap, and I was like, I don't think so.
They're not even close. I know, Simplicity's like, what the heck, we're so far ahead. 39 seconds into the game, you know, like, all they've done is cleared mid-wave, like... Love the player banter. Cracks me up.
No, especially with Kure. Like, that's the one thing that I really love about Kure, like the attitude that he has towards the game, and just in general. Like, the guy is always positive, always has a joke coming up. Like, he is amazing. Love Kure. So, yeah, with his teams and everything, the banter that they're always throwing out, especially in the old days with, like, HTC, him and Mena, just watching the two of them, like, going at each other a bit was so funny.
Well, it's really it's really fun seeing, like, the best players of different regions, you know, kind of clash, because they're used to being kind of like that alpha male or that top dog of their region, right? And so they meet someone else with that, like, level of confidence, that level of like gusto, and it's nice to see the fireworks clash. The
shit talk, just continuous, and especially in the hero scene, everybody was just so close, and still is, and that's the beauty of it. And the B-stepping, the banter earlier with the sprays as well that we saw from Madara, for example, and then now since they are so close, I mean, they're talking to each other the entire time here. And
speaking of sprays, were you able to, you know, get a hold of Mascarade and get him to upgrade his spray game?
I actually haven't talked to him about it. I kind of forgot about that. But yeah, we definitely need to do that. Blizzard needs to introduce bathrobe spray, and I'm pretty sure that then immediately, you know...
That would be his only spray for eternity, like from this day until the last day.
He wouldn't play the game anymore. It would just like spray everything. That's the only thing that happens.
No, that'd be so true. But yeah, guys, this is going to be the opportunity for Simplicity to bring back the reverse sweep. Like, this is do or die. I mean, it's not their tournament life on the line, but this is the match that you want to win. You want to secure yourself at least a top 2 finish going into the grand finals. I'm not sure if Simplicity is going to be able to do it. It's looking like a rough series so far, but there's still hope.
Now, here's the thing. Once that Simplicity is in the losers bracket, I'm looking forward to the match against. I love how long it took you. I was like, all right, let's bait Michael a little bit, and then I'm saying it, and no reaction for the first second. I'm like, all right, he's accepting it. Fair enough.
It was taking a moment to process.
No denial anymore. I ran out of copium. No, but jokes aside, if they end up in the losers bracket, what I would really look forward to is a rematch against Diamond Hands, because that series yesterday, despite the 2-0 score, was so close, and I just gotta imagine, if you're Diamond Hands, you want that rematch. You're sitting there and you're like, we want to face them again because we can beat them. So that's something that I would love to see. Now again, we could see a reverse sweep. We could see this as the first map where all of a sudden Simplicity is starting to bring it back. But if they drop down in the losers bracket, that would be the match that I'm really excited about, because yeah, those two games were insane. And if we get a best of 5 from them, that would be fireworks.
Oh, it'd be close. I don't think we'd see a 3-0 either way, right? Like, I think it would be one where maybe go the distance. And if you are Diamond Hands, you know, sitting in the crowd, watching this series so far, feeling that NA pride on the line, being like, man, okay, I wish it was us up there fighting against Team Wall. I mean, if they, you know, Simplicity does end up getting 3-0'd, we'll see what ends up happening. You know, I still feel like they have tools to win this Curse Hollow game, potentially start that reverse sweep in the making. But, you know, if you're Diamond Hands, you see them get 2-0'd pretty convincingly at the start, you're like, man, I wish it was us up there. I wish it was us playing against the Europeans. And that might give them a little bit of that extra, you know, passion, a little extra desire to want to prep harder and really, you know, go against Simplicity with all they got.
Yeah, they scrimmed a little bit in the morning, but also, I mean, I know that, so Team scrimmed against Diamond Hands in the morning a bit. And as far as I know, most of those games ended in favor of, but it's a scrim, you know, like you test the waters a little bit. But you also get a feel for your opponent. So as you said, they already think, hey, we've seen this in the scrims earlier, and after we've lost, we thought about it, how can we beat that? Now we see it here, and we want to bring our solutions in, you know, see how does it actually match up against them. So they obviously want to have a piece of the action here as well. But yeah, I'm just excited for today's games. We ended yesterday. We eased into the tournament slowly. Had a couple of early games. So obviously, we had the top dogs fighting against some of the weaker teams here. Then we got the match between Diamond Hands and Simplicity, which was just fireworks. I was just sitting there, please give me more games. Second map, I was like, please win it. I want map 3. I want the third game. I want to go all the distance here. So having best of 5 today is going to be awesome. And then, of course, got the grand final as a best of 7. So, yeah, either way is going to be good.
Oh, I'm so excited for it. If you guys did not catch that Diamond Hands versus Simplicity series, I would definitely recommend after the cast today, you know, download those VODs, watch them. Like a pretty much 30-minute Volskaya game went down to the wire.
I think it was 35
even. It was 35-minute Volskaya game, yeah. Literally,
like,
last seconds, you're holding your breath, breathing into a brown bag, like, who's going to win?
When I saw the catapult damage, I was like, oh my god. that was crazy. Catapults on the core is like pretty much one-shotting the shield away.
Yep.
That's absolutely nuts. But yeah, so they are currently setting up the lobby again, from what I can tell. Again, they needed to restart some things for Mascarade and fix his mouse. So if I'm not 100% on this, but I think yesterday his mouse broke and he had to replace it, and now he has some issues just like setting it up properly.
With like the new mouse type thing, like settings.
Again, don't quote me on that, but I haven't talked to him specifically about it yet. I will later and then update you guys. But that's what they said the last time. But
and it's so important that you have your mouse feel proper, right? Like this is for money. This is for that EU pride. So it's unfortunate that there's pauses, but like this is 100% the right move. Being a player that's been at LANs and having your equipment not work properly, like you're already out of your comfort zone, right? You're already not in your home, not in your ideal sediment where you've measured everything and have everything in the right spot, and you really want to ensure that you're giving yourself the right tools to succeed. So happy the players are taking the pause, happy the players are making sure that their mouses are working, all their stuff is properly set up.
Ultralisk was talking about this too. So he was, again, we're in the LAN center, so we have, first of all, the PCs on stage where the players are playing, but you also have more PCs where they can then scrim between the games. We have also some people of the audience just like playing games right now. And the teams that are not playing on stage can warm up, whatever.
Yeah.
But Ultralisk was playing there, and he was the entire time a little bit worried because he says he's very specific about his sensitivity settings. And he said, okay, I need to make sure tomorrow that I'm early, early at the events, as early as possible, and then straight come in and set everything up, try and figure out if I have to adjust something else or if that does the trick here. And this is the first thing that I actually checked with him, if he feels comfortable and if he feels like, okay, everything is going well here. Because you got the added layer of being all of a sudden in front of an audience, and this is not the biggest audience. It's not like you have thousands of people all of a sudden screaming at you, but it's still different when you're sitting on stage. People are watching you, and all of a sudden, like your teammates and your opponents are sitting right next to you. And then having on top of that problems with your equipment is something you definitely want to have.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can like hear the sound of the crowd. When good things happen, when bad things happen. So I definitely don't want that added, potentially negative influence of having your equipment not properly working. And I mean, Ultralisk, I feel like his mouse sensitivity is on point today. Watching him play Imperious earlier, watching him, absolutely pop off in that first game. And, we're going to see Simplicity banned Maiev and Kerrigan the first two games.
Yes.
They threw a lot of respect Ultralisk's way. But this game, they do let the Maiev through. They do let the Kerrigan through. And Ultralisk does end up opting for that Maiev. So that's a hero I'm going to be really excited to watch them play into this one. Do you think he'll go Warden's Cage, Disc? Like, do you feel like there's one that he normally prefers? Or is it really just kind of like map dependent, comp dependent?
Normally, if anything, I would say he in the past preferred Disc because it was just so incredibly strong. And once that Blizzard came in and said, like, everybody picks it, but what if we make it stronger? Then it became a bit of a no-brainer. But we've seen him go for the Cage yesterday, so I feel it's a little bit dependent on how the game is moving for them. If they feel they need more isolation, then they can go for that. They have already Stitches with a potential Gorge. They could then use the Disc for even more isolation. But if they just drop the Cage after the Gorge, then I feel like they can secure a lot of kills here. So in that combo, Cage is definitely an option. Yeah. Normally, it's mostly Disc based for him, but given the composition that they're playing here, probably going to be Cage for him.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see it. I mean, Maiev, I feel like one of the more stylish heroes, especially, I mean, I used to play Illidan, I used to play Sonya. Yeah. I love seeing those melee assassins. They've kind of fallen a little bit out of favor with a lot of the offlaners being, a Blaze, a Leo, a Yrel, being your kind of second frontliner. But I love seeing these flex players pull out these melee assassins because it really is feast or famine. It really is do or die. So much comes down to your understanding of your limits, your understanding of, what can you get away with, what can you kill. And it's like sometimes you, Ian, get polymorphed, insta-die. Sometimes you, Ian, hit like a 5-person pull, 2 or 3-person pull, or even a 1-person pull on the priority target that you need to hit, and it completely turns it around for your team. So love seeing players have that confidence to pick those heroes.
To update you guys a little bit, so the lobby is set up. We are going into Cursed Hollow. We have Simplicity already here. Team Y is slowly joining, so we're going to have the game restarted in just a couple of seconds. I want to again give a quick shout out to the NLG LAN Center over here in Miami. So if you guys, again, small event, first production here. Obviously, there's a few things that we're improving that we're currently working on. You could see it yesterday too. But if you're happy that we finally have a little bit of offline Heroes of the Storm again after years and years, especially here in North America right now, make sure that you give them some love because they sponsor the entire thing here. It's pretty much their baby. So if you want to give them some positive comments and a little bit of feedback here, at NLG Miami is the Twitter account. I mentioned that there's a raffle going on over there currently too. So if you follow, retweet, and follow the account, retweet, and also like the tweet, then you can win one of the banners that we have here that's signed by all the players. But generally, please head over to Twitter, give them some feedback. These guys have been absolutely amazing. They set all of this up themselves, and this is exactly the support that we need for Heroes of the Storm, and that we haven't gotten even from the company that produced it lately. So yeah.
You mean Microsoft? You know,
Microsoft, yeah, exactly. I heard like Microsoft is big on this right now.
yeah,
HTC 2025, right?
Yes, that's what I also heard. You know, they sent me a letter via pigeon. You know, it'll be coming soon.
Using the latest tech as usual. I like it. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Awesome. All right. Well, looks like we are going to be taking a brief break, a brief intermission, just a couple of more minutes as we do get the rest of WoW into this lobby.
Which gives you guys time to check out the Twitter real quickly.
Yes.
And again, it's to make sure that the players are playing in the optimal conditions. They might, I mean, maybe they have to even get him a new mouse. I don't know what they're doing, but whatever it is, we have a 2-0, and you don't want to end the series when anybody is not playing in perfect conditions. Sorry for the short break. We're going to be back after a couple of minutes, and then with map number 3, and then we'll see you on Cursor, so stay tuned. All right, guys, we're back. Everything is all right. The players are ready. We can go into the game. Before we're heading in, as they are going for the countdown, I can actually show you the banner. So we got one. I mean, I can't show you the entire thing, but like this is the one of the banners. So this thing is pretty big, as you can see. Fits perfectly in the wall. If you want to win that thing, that's going to be signed by everybody. Again, go to Twitter at NLG Miami and make sure that you retweet, like, and follow, and then you can call one of those babies your own. So that's going to be signed later. And yeah, this thing is pretty big and pretty awesome.
Oh, they're very awesome. They have one of like each of the maps too, so it's really, really cool. And like we said, the casters will be signing it, players will be signing it, so you'll get some of your own very, exclusive Heroes of the Storm memorabilia.
And we are back in the game, so let's make sure that we're going to jump right in. We currently have our game going. The draft OBS has already happened earlier. They're starting with the same heroes here. They were only 30 seconds in when those problems started to occur. And at this point, we got on the left side again, Ultralisk on makke, daykwaza on Blaze for the third time in a row. Mascarade is playing his Stitches again. Also failing completely in the mount department, by the way. We just criticized his spray game, but boy, he's going pleb mount on us. Like, I can't endorse that. Like, I apologize for Europe.
An absolute style in this third game. He said, I don't need a good mount. I'm going to get that dub. But yeah, on the right side, we got Simplicity in the red, Legacy playing the Rhaegar, Madara on that Hanzo, Unaverted playing the Johanna. We've got Fancy Pants on the Hogger and Kure in the bottom by his eye playing that Tracer, as it looks like Fancy Pants and daykwaza are just, throw some spells at each other, trade a little bit. Going to be a bit more favorable for daykwaza, but it's early game. That doesn't necessarily matter that much.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the mount game is really, really important. There is a reason why some of the best players that we had in this game were always using the money pick. There are rumors that I can neither deny or confirm that the money pick makes you 10% faster and stronger and more beautiful. But in this case, Kure, he is trying to turn it around after nearly dying here. They're going for nagrom, and the Brightwing player is able to escape past the gate. But at least Simplicity is not going to take that aggression without responding in kind. I like it.
Yeah, forcing out a decent number of taps, doing a decent amount of damage there. A good rotation from the team. I mean, it felt like deja vu from the first game before the remake. We saw Kure almost die on bottom on the Tracer. Barely able to juke out the hook, as Legacy are actually going in, biting. Mascarade was waiting in the wings, waiting in the fog. If he's able to hit the hook, could be a scary situation, but Legacy insta-sprays with the Simplicity after sidestepping, asserting dominance. You love to see it.
Yeah, I like it. The spray game is getting better. Now we have to talk to Mascarade about mounts, and then we're Gucci.
We talked to him about the spray. Now we just got to get him the mount. khaldor, you need to get him the full outfit.
Like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. I think it's really that he has to play on the NA server right now. He's not completely decked out with his account on this one. On Europe, normally this is all set up, but it's a bit disappointing.
Definitely, as it
he was not prepared.
Yeah, I needed to drop some money before the LAN so he would show up in style, as it looks like both teams are going to get out their Bruiser camp here. You see makke and Rhaegar respectively rotating to the Siege camp to get out that next Merc camp as well. But it looks like both teams are just going to opt to clear out mid. I like Legacy holding this Siege camp. So you see the first trib is spawning on the top side. Would expect to see Simplicity cap that, around 2 minutes, maybe 30 or 40 seconds. And that way they'll have the pressure on the bottom while the first trib is spawning.
Yeah, and Kure is still fighting it out at the bot lane against Brightwing, so he's of course the one that we need to pay a lot of attention to. He wasn't able to really get his Zeratul in the best position on the first map. Team was definitely ready for that. Now on map 3, he's trying his Tracer, and let's figure out if the boys in blue are going to be able to shut that down. Once it stitches to 16, it's going to be easier. There's a lot of CC already available for them, but Kure obviously knows exactly what he's up against and is going to do his best to go on to let Lunara take it down, maybe get a Brightwing kill in. With the first tribute now popping up at the top, they want to go for the first fight, but as it happens, Pants gets stopped and gets out.
Wow, very close.
Oh, that was definitely clutch.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're Simplicity, he doesn't die, but he's effectively dead for this, first tribute spawn. You really wanted, you see Tracer in the bot lane with the sieges, as Unaverted actually falling kind of low here, forced to use the Unstoppable, looking to full clear the wave, get the Globe, may potentially fly, a good cleanse coming out, the blind as well, the hook though, and I think Unaverted overstayed his welcome, as he is going to fall. And Simplicity, they had a good situation set up. They were going to get a lot of pressure in this bot lane. But Wah, recognizing that, going really aggressive onto Hogger, and then killing the Johanna will just stop that right in the tracks.
Now we got level 7 already available to them. They get the first tribute too, and can now push the top lane a bit more aggressively against Legacy and Madara. Jojo is on their way back, and down at the bot lane we now have Pants set up against Ultralisk in this Hogger versus makke battle. But there's already some pressure, and after, like, we actually went over to Mascarade and called him out for his weak spray game, and now you can see him dropping one spray after another every 5 seconds. So apparently he takes the criticism to heart. I like it.
You know, he's all about improvement, all right?
Yeah.
He's min-maxing, seeing how he can best maximize his gameplay. Love to see the spray he's got coming out, and I love to see he throws it out every time he misses a hook. It's just, you know, that banter that we're talking about. That you know, I love to see the players having a good time. As Kure is going to just back up, getting, you know, more bomb charge on that Stitches at about 80% here, and the next tribute is going to be spawning in about 20 seconds, and it looks like it is favored for the side of Simplicity as far as positioning goes. The question is, will they actually be able to secure it, as we see Blaze and Brightwing both pressuring on the bot side here.
Yeah, again, a bit of an attack against makke here all the way up at the top with Lunara. Brightwing is moving down to the bot lane as they're trying to make a play for Hogger and for the wall, of course. The tribute position is a little bit better now for Simplicity, so they're likely to lock this one in. Legacy is already on the channel. And no interrupt available, so 1v1 situation on the tributes. But more bot lane pressure against that wall. So structurally speaking, Wa is starting to pull ahead. They did damage at the top lane fort. They're doing damage at the bot lane wall. They're really... Oh, that could be a problem now too. They're going for the boss, but that was already sniffed out. It seems like Simplicity is going to go for a bit of a gamble here.
Yeah, they will probably peel off the boss here, but are able to force up the Brightwing TP. Oh, Kure though getting poly'd. Going to lose his life, though. Nagrom doing a very good job here, and level 10 is close to approaching. Okay, good juke on the hook there from Unaverted. If he potentially got hooked there and died, that would have been a boss opportunity for Team Wa. But as it currently stands, it looks like they will just pressure into this top fort with their level 10, and Simplicity has to be careful here. There's the containment disc. There's the gorge. Potentially could lose their life here, as Johanna is just going to get gorged, as Ultra is just trying to finish off this fort here. A good job coming out from Unaverted to clear the wave.
Yeah, gets the heal, got a little bit low, hits the hook, and they still try to take that fort down, of course. So far not successful. Mascarade again having some mouse problems. He actually said that apparently has to blow into it every, like, he needs to do mouse CPR. like he's literally sitting there trying to revive the mouse every now and then.
Yeah, he said every, 10 minutes or so, he's got to breathe it. It's like those old Nintendo 64 cartridges, you like put it there, it like doesn't work. Yeah. You're like, okay, let me pull it out, let me breathe into it, get the dust out. Okay, let's see if it works again. Like,
the
that
old
was me as a
disc,
kid. Yeah.
Like shaking in them. It's like, please work now.
Oh man, the good old days, what we used to do to get some quality video games.
Yeah. But we are back. So we're back in the game, guys. Don't worry. Like, if he has, I mean, honestly, if the series is over, in case they take it, they need to go somewhere and buy him a new one.
Yeah.
Apparently, we don't have the one that he uses at hand, but yeah, they need to get him another one.
Simplicity, though, able to secure the boss here without Team Wa recognizing, but it looks like they're going to start at the boss of their own. I don't think Simplicity will be able to get there in time, though. We'll see if Hogger's able to get on point as Johanna is walking over. We could see a Dragon Arrow coming in and the Falling Sword. This could be an opportunity for Simplicity to get a second boss, to open up this game, as they have Bloodlust as well. That's another ultimate to check.
Yeah, boss is already let go, and yeah, they're not making a move for it. Nicely done by Simplicity. Very good move now. They're trying to force the fight here. If they can win this one, that would be huge. The disc is out on Tracer, and they're trying to go for the kill, but makke is already a little bit low as the hook is once again missing. The bomb on daykwaza is trying to escape. Tracer has been gorged. They're trying to go for the kill against Kure. The camp has been activated too, and we have Pants moving in. Stitches finally down the kill against Mascarade. They're attempting to drop makke, but they're unsuccessful. But big moves are being made here by Simplicity. They take the boss at the top, they deny the bots for Team Wa, and they steal the camp away after killing Stitches. Big plays by the American team.
Yeah, and they're just starting up the boss for the side of Team Wa. They're taking it. It's down to about half here. This is the power of that Hanzo. Does so much boss damage. Are they going to be able to get it, though, before daykwaza is able to get here onto the point? As, it looks like we're going to see another fight over this boss point. Ultralisk doing so much damage.
Ultralisk, daykwaza down, but so is Pants. Everybody's dead and dying. Kure gets dropped, and Simplicity, they drop everyone. Only Hanzo survives. Madara is trying to retreat. Mascarade looking for the next hook. The boss gets stolen. And the hopes and dreams of Simplicity after this initial fight get crushed. The team is cursed as well. They go for the 5-man team wipe as they drop Hanzo. And oh my god, wow.
And I don't know if you could hear it at home, but Mascarade yelling, screaming, so happy with that massive power swing for their team. A boss, a curse. They're taking the sieges. This is potentially a keep opportunity.
This went from guys, we have the game in our hands. We are driving the game now. We get 2 bosses. We got the night camp. We got the kill to, oh my god, we're falling apart. That was, oh boy, that fight was so heartbreaking. Simplicity finally pulls ahead in game 3, and then Team comes in with a big fight, drops 5, steals the boss away, and gets the curse at the same time. And now they're moving in to reap their rewards.
Oh, Bloodlust. No level 13 here, though, for Simplicity. They don't care as they're going to be going in here. Johanna using the Falling Sword not to be able to connect onto that much as they are going to get gorged. I don't know if they actually have their D out of this, and that's going to be a dead Johanna. And the containment dips from ultralisk. The fadeaway. The Kobe able to get it onto Legacy, and that's going to be a second kill going the way of Team Wa, and surely the keep is going to follow next.
Yeah, they're going for the keep, and the one in the mid lane is also in trouble now. The first keep is gone. The top lane has been attacked in the middle. The fort obviously destroyed, and now the move for the next one. Another hook. The boss still alive. Keep number 2 is going to fall. 9 kills to 2. And Team is absolutely mercilessly destroying all the structures on the red team side, with one exception. The single keep top side is all they've got left.
Wow, and at this point, Team Wa took... I mean, Team Wa just got so much, though, right? Like, yeah, that really... I just want to say Simplicity, they opted for the night camp, right? They took Wa's night camp and then went to the boss, and I can't help but feel like that was just a bit too greedy. All they needed was 1 or 2 seconds more of damage onto the boss, and they would have been able to get it before daykwaza was able to get there.
You're already at the camp.
That's true.
The camp is already aggroed, and walking away from that is nearly impossible.
It's very picky, right? But I feel like since you do opt for the night camp, I mean...
No, I understand what you mean. If they would have walked away from it and just ignored it, go straight for the boss, they would have gotten the boss.
Yes.
But you're already in the middle of it, so you're thinking, hey, this is like 4 seconds or something. Let's go for it. But those 4 seconds at the end of the day is what cost them the boss. Big arrow, I like it. Good disc from ultralisk to save the day. And Brightwing is moving into, the hook, the gorge. Legacy is low, goes for the bloodlust, gets polymorphed, and ultralisk with a kill.
And this looks like disaster for the side of Simplicity. Unaverted is going to be the next to fall. Luckily, there aren't very many objectives left on the map. The boss on Simplicity's side is going to be up in about 35 seconds, and their heroes will respawn in time for that. But they won't have 16 advantages. Kure going a bit too aggressive, gets polymorphs from Nagrom, and now this could be an opportunity for Team Wa to instantly start that boss if they're in position, but they just might want the 3rd keep instead. They say, you know what, we don't need the boss, we're just going to take your keep.
And they have 16 now, which of course for Tracer is also such a big problem as we've seen, so they have all the cards in their hands. And of course, at the same time, you're looking at this right now, it's 12 kills to 2. Ultralisk, for the first time today, gets his Maiev, and he's having such an impact. The discs that he's thrown out time and time again, the tethers that he's getting, and even the solo kill that we just saw a couple of seconds ago, they are absolutely beasting it here. And Simplicity is, they need kills. They need to somehow get to level 16 and get a good team fight.
Wow, yeah, a good sidestep there from Legacy, juking the hook. I was worried if he gets hit there, that's a boss, and that's probably going to be the game. But it looks like Sim doesn't have 16 here, but they don't care. They're potentially looking for a fight. Oh! That is so good that it was unaverted that actually got hooked there. I thought that was going to hit Legacy on the Rhaegar, and if it does, that's a dead hero. 5 seconds on Bloodlust, as makke actually going to get arrowed here. Doesn't have the leaping strike. That's the one hero you don't want to get gone on, as Bloodlust going to come out as well. Makke just chilling in the bunker until the last second, able to escape.
Pants a little bit in trouble. Tracer also coming in. Rhaegar is the one that dies first, as ultralisk is once again going in with his Maiev and just wrecking it. They try to cut off unaverted. The polymorph is in. There's the tether, and that's the kill on Johanna. Team Wa is moving towards the core. They want to end the series and start to back off to play it safe. I like it. This is exactly what I talked about earlier. They so often risk these moments where they said, let's go for core, and then they lose a game where they fire ahead, but now they're trying to play it safe here and go for boss instead.
Kure gets silenced out of the containment disc and is going to instantly die. And I mean, if you're Simplicity, you can't give this boss up. You're looking to try and stall it out as you see Pants and Madara both walking in here. But this is a 2v5 at the moment. Rhaegar's now up, and okay, it does look like they are just going to give up the boss. They're going to clear out this mid lane. They're going to clear out this bot lane. But this is a double boss opportunity, or potentially an opportunity for Wa to push onto the core with this boss and look to end this game and end this series.
Simplicity was fighting without a level 16 talent for such a long time, and it was a huge mistake for them to try and engage in these battles there. Now we have a huge lead in kills and experience, nearly level 20 for the blue team. They move to the top lane, the keep is going to fall 100%, the boss is on its way, and they're going to try to end it all here, move on to the grand final of the tournament, and send Simplicity into the loser's bracket. Here comes the move, and it's the last chance. Finally, with even talents for Simplicity. The arrow comes out. They're trying to go for ultralisk. Here comes the Sun with the jet propulsion. Ultralisk is low, but he gets away. Mascarade with the Gorge against Kure, but he's also dropping in HP, and they might get the kill here. Stitches goes down.
Yeah, Stitches is going to fall. That's one kill. What else can Simplicity get, though? It looks like they want to just back up and get the boss. They trade 1 for 1, lose the Hogger, but they're able to save their, upper bracket life here. But they're still so far behind. Down 3 keeps. They're definitely losing the race to 20 as Team Wa is about, a quarter of the way there, and they are about to get another tribute, which will put them on another, all they'll need is 1 more trib before getting a curse, and their boss is up as well, so they potentially could look for a bush camp, and this is a hard moment to come back from for Simplicity.
I honestly feel fighting earlier without the level 16 talent was such a big mistake. They got caught up in the moment there, and there was a lot of adrenaline pumping. Kure himself was hoping to maybe get a sneaky kill in if he just makes the big play of the game here, but it didn't turn out that way, and that allowed Team Wa to pull even farther ahead. Now they got 20, they got the fortified bunker, they got the Thornwood Vines upgrade, and bosses are plenty on the map. And if you are Simplicity, you can't let this happen. Your core is already exposed, you lost 9% on it, and if with level 20 the push is coming, then the blue team is surely going to take it here, but they are too late to do anything about it. The boss is taken, and now Simplicity is caught between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, this is a boss curse opportunity in 10 seconds. They got Siege Camp in the top. They got Bruisers in the mid. If you're Simplicity, you kind of have to take a fight, and you have to win it here, as Legacy is going to be willing, getting hooked, is going to be getting gorged as well. daykwaza looking to go in here. Legacy looking to follow up. Bloodlust comes out. The Hanzo arrow barely misses. They needed that. They needed a big arrow to win this team fight, and it looks like Fancy Pants on the Hogger is going to be the one falling, but there is so much pressure on this map, and daykwaza leading the charge for Team Wa. He wants it. They know this is their chance to win the game, and they're looking for it.
Hogger gets caught with his pants down. Now the blue team is moving through the bot lane. Boss is already right there, nibbling at the shield. And the blue team is coming in. It's a 5 versus 4 situation, as is obviously once again it's Tracer trying to make the play here and trying to take makke down. Getting close, and Kure finally with a kill here. Making the play, but it doesn't look good for them either way. The core is losing hit points rapidly. Blue team is a bit low in HP, but the core is slowly falling. There's the kill against Blaze. The core at 50%, and Simplicity saves the day again.
Yeah, saving the game here is big, because now they're going to get a 20-20 coin toss. Potentially one more team fight, potentially could end it on the top side. And Team Wa here, they're going to cap the trip, they're going to use their curse, but they're not going to get anything off of it, right? I would expect to see Simplicity just sit in their base here, or is ultralisk actually just channeling it and then
they're canceling.
Okay, I think that's the right move here, because this really is your only win condition left on the map.
Yes.
The bosses aren't going to be up for another like 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes, and if your Team Wa, if you cap this curse, you're very much stalling out the game. So I like this. Very good game sense from ultralisk and the side of Team Wa to not actually cap this trip.
Simplicity has been able to hit the level 20. They stalled the game out for nearly 3 levels. They were behind for such a long time in Storm Talents. Oh. Here comes the arrow, and this time it connects. Good helping hand in an attempt to save ultralisk. And the tribute is up, and this time they are losing it. So Mascarade gets attacked again. They're still waiting for Blaze to come back, but it's the second tribute for Simplicity. And the NA team getting some momentum here.
I feel it. This is the start of the reverse sweep, khaldor. I feel it, Team Wa.
I mean, right now you're down every single keep in the structures, and you have only taken the fort. So, like, hold your horses
All
there.
we need is one trib. A boss is spawning in 40 seconds. All we need is one team fight win, and Simplicity can turn this map around and maybe turn this series around. Level 20 Bloodlust.
Here's the dream for you.
Yes.
You win the team fight, you take the top boss, and you go for core.
Yeah.
Top boss, you drop the keep, and you go for core. That's the play. Win the team fight. One big-time Bloodlust coming in there and making the big play. A good shockwave from Hogger.
Oh, Kure.
Oh,
Kure gets the recall.
Kure gets the recall and is able to move away, but that was still a scary one. The next hook! Another hook, and the polymorph Legacy is on the run. The doggy gets out. Jojo still fighting. And Mascarade is dropping hook after hook. Arrow! What the hell? What an arrow by Madara, but it's not enough. Johanna is down. The kill against the main tank. The shockwave! And the counter kill. daykwaza goes down. 4v4, and Kure is trying to jump in again. He's a surgeon wielding his scalpel right now, trying to take them apart piece by piece. And they want that tribute, they want that curse. And Va is moving in shock point.
Yeah, wow. Kure is going to be able to get it. So this is going to be a curse going the side of Simplicity. But what do they go for off of this? It looks like Madara is rotating towards top boss. It looks like Simplicity is going to use this curse to just allow them to potentially get set up on the boss. Johanna's going to spawn about 5 seconds before the Blaze. So really not that much of an advantage for them. But what can Simplicity make happen off of this curse? I feel like you have to look for some sort of boss play. As Maske going for the blind hook hits Kure. Holy moly.
Step, baby. They need to take some structures down. The catapults are becoming more and more of a problem. We're 19 minutes into the game, and these catapults are eventually going to wreck you. But the top boss, if they grab this one,
they get this.
They're getting it. The vision, like earlier, we had the entire time the blue team keeping someone close by to check vision, and now the Wisp is coming in too late. And this is a 19-minute boss. In top lane, they kind of have to, but can they?
Only if they get a couple kills. Listen,
now, here's the thing. They just had a curse. So all the lanes are pushed out. Catapults are not going to become a problem for you anytime soon. 46%. Are they going to backdoor here?
I love this.
They are threatening it. There's the vision with the walls. And at this point, if you are Simplicity,
46.
you have to go back. They can trade. They have to Hearthstone. And then once they do, all that Team Wa has to do is do the same thing. Or are they committing here? They're committing. They're committing.
It all
They're
comes
going
down
for
to
it.
this.
They're really going for it. The bunker's there. And A has been dreaming of the comeback in Game 3, but it might be time to wake up as the core goes down and Team Wa claims victory. The 3-0 as they move on to the grand final of that tournament.
Wow. Wow, what a Game 3, though. Such a smart shot call from the side of Team Wa, recognizing, hey, if we defend that boss, that's the only opportunity for us to lose. And honestly, I think if they tried to do that, Simplicity had really good tools. Bloodlust, Falling Sword, Dragon Arrow. And they recognize that and just go for the core, 46%, and they're able to secure it. Such a smart macro decision coming out from
What I could have seen as an alternative play is you go for the core, the second you realize the Hearthstone back, you retreat, and you just defend the boss. And then it's fine. Then you're fine. Then you have, of course, the reset. But they see the opportunity. With all the damage done earlier, by every push that they executed, 46%, they're like, guys, we got fortified bunker. We got everything here. We have plenty of damage. Let's go for it.
Yeah, wow. What a finish to that game, though. Wow. Like, that 4v5 defense from Simplicity with the boss pushing onto them, that was crazy. Kure on that Tracer making some moves.
I did not think they would survive after 20 hit for Team Wa. They held, I think, 2-3 attacks after that.
Yeah.
And that was huge. So they kept the dream alive for a long time, but it was not enough.
Definitely, and that was a close series as we have a Mascarade interview coming in for you. The man in the bathrobe himself.
Hello.
Hey.
I'm not sure why I'm doing 2 interviews, but...
I mean, you don't send me anybody else, so I think you like me or something.
No, like they told me to come this time. Like last time it was a troll, but they told me to come.
Really? They told you?
Yeah.
And you're just hogging the entire spotlight and you don't give any attention to your teammates? So you think you're doing it single-handedly, or what's going on with you here?
I'm actually feeling bad. Like, you put me on the spot now. Yeah.
Okay, what's going on with your mouse?
Oh yeah, my mouse broke. Like.
Do you do CPR on it, or what's happening there?
It's I just plug it in and the right click is not working. Okay.
Okay.
And like they told me like blowing it there might be some dust, and so I have to blow into the little crease on the mouse, and it kind of work. And it works for 5 minutes, and then the right click doesn't work again. I have to blow on it again. So that's why I keep pausing to get my right click working.
Okay, but now you got some time. You guys are in the grand final. Congratulations.
Thanks.
How do you think about the games?
I mean, it was easier than expected, to be honest. I thought that it's gonna be close.
Okay.
Closer than that. I mean, like. What can I say? It shows, it speaks for itself, no?
What happened in game number 1? Like, did you guys make that draft and say, like, okay, if we don't ban Zeratul, Kure
Give me Stitch. And and like we had the plan to go there for a very aggressive comp.
Yep.
into their tool, and yeah, if you don't let the time for their tool to scale and play its game, like we crushed like building so fast. That was the main focus, and yeah, it just snowballed.
Was it a calculated gamble by you guys where you said, okay, let's give him Zero tool.
Yeah,
if we lose, then we ban him, but if we are okay with it, then we don't have to waste our ban?
We knew we wanted to go Zero tool, and we were gonna pick it. But yeah, we're just ready for it. We practiced, I mean, with theory craft the draft, and yeah, it worked out even better than expected. So good job, like very. Shout out to Makke, which is doing a lot of work for drafting and shot calling, and yeah, it's very nice.
Which was the map where you felt like this was the biggest problem for you, or the map where you struggled the most? Was it
maybe
Cursed with the bosses?
At the end of Cursed, like yeah, that was insane 20 with the Falling Sword, with the Bloodlust. Yeah. Bloodlust it's kind of meh at 10, but at 20 it's very good. And yeah, like if we go too deep into their base, because we destroyed everything, so we had to go, you know. But like if we are too far from base, we just get like chased forever by Tracer and the 20 Bloodlust. Yeah. So yeah, we struggled in the end, but yeah, we pulled it off.
What about the boss situation? You were a little bit late on the boss, the first one, and then you came in and you were able to steal it away. If that fight goes against you, you are in trouble. So was that really where you said, okay, guys, let's just risk it with 2-0, let's go?
I mean, no. Yeah, no, it was like, I think it was a pre-planned call. Like I was dead, so I had nothing to say, but they said, yeah, if they do it, we can contest it. We kind of scouted it a bit late. It was half HP, it was not comfortable to go, but like in team fight, we were stronger. Like they took damage from the boss. We were near our buildings, it was a good spot for us. And yeah, in the end, Blaze into the small hallways of Cursed Hollow, big stuns, it's good.
All right, last question for you. What is up with this weak mount and skin game you have going on today?
I mean,
it's just embarrassing.
Yeah, but it's like any accounts, and yeah, I don't have any skins or whatever. I tried to put a baby Rexar spray. Like at the last game, because you told me to.
Exactly. The spray was better. Yeah, but all I hear are excuses. You need to step it up a little bit for the grand final.
I'm sorry.
You have plenty of time now.
Yeah. Shout out as well to Usar clans. Like Nagrom clans, I was very impressed actually.
On Tomb.
Yeah, because he's not a support, and sometimes he struggles, especially with clans. But this time it was on point.
Yeah, you guys had some really nice moments there, and definitely that cleanse was something that stood out. Michael called it out at the time. That was absolutely crazy. But yeah, congratulations again. You got the 3-0. You're in the grand final, so you got a little bit of time to rest now. So what are you boys going to do? Just chill, relax, and watch the games, or are you going to start scrimming, preparing a little bit? What's the plan?
Go to the beach, take the sun. Yeah. I mean, we are cruising right now. We are cruising.
All right, all right. So yeah, guys, we're going to take a quick break, but yeah, that's Mascarade and the boys going to the grand final right now, representing Europe here. We have Simplicity, of course, not out of the tournament. They're going to be in losers bracket, and at some point, we're going to have one of the remaining teams face off against Team in the best of 7. So stay tuned. We'll be back with the next match in just a bit here at the Miami Defrost LAN.